Knoxville Raceway celebrates 50 years of spectacular sprint car racing. In the middle of America's fertile farmland lies a half mile of black mud, great for growing corn, awesome for racing the nastiest machine on the planet, an 800 horsepower alcohol-breathing beast known as a sprint car. Fans have packed this legendary facility to watch the greatest names in the sport as they wage war in the quest for its most coveted title. To win on these hallowed grounds has fulfilled boyhood dreams for a lucky few. It's a place that has left unfulfilled promises for others. But one man has made this high-speed playground his very own. 12 times he has been crowned the champion of the Knoxville Nationals. Who will be champion tonight at Knoxville? Speed Channel welcomes you live to the 43rd running of the Southern Ford Dealers of Iowa Knoxville Nationals here in the Marion County Fairgrounds in Knoxville, Iowa. This small heartland of America town of 8,000 will bulge at the seams tonight as 40,000 rabid sprint car fans have packed the Marion County Fairgrounds, making it the third largest outdoor venue in the state behind the football stadiums in Iowa and Iowa State University. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen. It is without a doubt, bar none, the biggest sprint car race on the planet. There's $125,000 up for grabs, but the most important thing of all to the drivers that have come here this week is that trophy to lay claim to the title of Knoxville Nationals champion. Joining me today on our broadcast, a man who has raced for that trophy, is a former Rookie of the Year here at the Nationals, Brad Doty. Brad, is it really as gut-wrenching as we say it is?
Oh, it really is. After 43 years, I mean, there's a lot of tradition, a lot of history here. $760,000 paid out over 4 nights. It's probably the only 4-night event, sprint car event in history or in the world, and these guys, the nerves are building for 4 nights. They're boiling over down there in the infield.
And one reason why they are is because every time they're on the racetrack, they're racing for points. That's how they decide who will race here in Knoxville. 20 of them have already qualified for the national event, the A feature, which you'll see here a little later on tonight. Donnie Schatz will start on the pole. Danny Lasowski has won it twice. Steve Kinzer has won it 12 times, but Brad, he's got to come from 10th. Can he do it from there?
He has won it from 14th before. He got real lucky that night. He's going to have to be lucky again tonight to get it done.
Some more big names in the second. Already in. Joey Saldana, his dad won it here in the 70s. No driver from Iowa has ever won here. Terry McCarl sits in 15th, could possibly get that feature here tonight. Now, 4 more names will be added to the lineup tonight out of our B feature, which we'll show you a little bit later on. And one gentleman joining us on our broadcast crew tonight, noted author and diehard sprint car fan, Dave Argabright.
Thank you, Ralph. On this sprawling Marion County Fairgrounds, this is hallowed ground, Victory Lane. Over 100 racers will be here this weekend to compete for the final, but only one will make his way atop that victory podium. In sprint car racing, we often talk of the big 2, Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell. Sammy was fastest qualifier on Wednesday and has been fast and steady all week. He starts 8th in tonight's main event. Meanwhile, Steve Kinzer, his troubles began early on Thursday when he lost his primary engine on his second qualifying lap. After a quick engine change, Kinzer recovered and used a late race pass to beat Wayne Johnson to win the 25-lap feature. It's always good to be king in Victory Lane. But more trouble came last night in the A Scramble when Kinzer collided with Kerry Madsen while racing for position. His front end was too badly damaged to continue, and tonight he starts all the way back in 10th in the main event. Ralph Shaheen.
Well, there is the king waiting, Brad, just watching.
Boy, he watches everything. He watches the racetrack. He watches other competitors. That guy is as nervous as anybody down there, even though he's a 12-time champion.
Let's show you the lineup of racing action that's taking place here tonight. Now, we've already run the E feature. It was a 10-lap affair. 5 drivers transferred out of that to the back end of the D. the man that won the A feature tonight, Troy Little. Now, the cars you see circulating around in the background, Brad, that's the D feature. 2 will come out of that 12 laps, but we've had some issues in that one.
Yes, we have. That nervous energy we talked about, it's building. Some of these guys are having trouble already. Everybody trying really hard.
And we've had some big crashes here tonight already. Check this one out from the E feature. Mark Taves up and out of the ballpark.
Broke a right rear axle getting into 3, and you saw what happened there.
Ty Bartz, earlier on, gets hit, and around he goes.
He had a problem going into 1. He slowed dramatically, and he got tagged in the left front. You see what happens?
And then in the last crash that brought us to the period that we're under right now, Brian Brown involved in this one in the 6th with Moore.
Yeah, you see Moore going over, and Brown took the steering out of his car. He went up and hit the wall coming out of turn 4.
The C feature will be what will be coming up right after the D feature is completed. Let's show you the lineup of cars that have already made their way into the C feature. Well, the C feature lineup will come up a little bit later since the D feature cars are still circulating around the racetrack, and that's the one that we're going to finish off first before we go racing.
But all these crashes we've had kind of delayed things just a little bit.
We're going to be 1 to go at the line. The pace truck is pulling off, and we're going to finish off this D feature here tonight, and then we'll pick up with the C. Now remember, 2 cars will come out of this. Jared Hull in the 50, currently leading this one. Justin Henderson behind him in the black car. Top 2 will make their way out. Right now they stand the best shot of making it. Tony Lutar in the 4X, 1 spot out of that transfer, Brad.
I'll tell you, it's tough. Ralph, I was one of the guys in 1985, came from the middle of C and won it, came from the back of B and won it, and finished 6th. But times have changed now. Even Steve Kinzer will tell you it's a lot tougher. The equipment's a lot more equal now. These poor guys in the back, they're going to have a lot of things go their way if they're going to get up in the top 2.
Making their way to the green flag, which Doug Clark will wave. And we're underway. Keep your eyes on the battle for 3rd and 4th. Oh, we got a flip over in turn 1.
Jeff Johnson, he's had a tough week. Watch, he hasn't been making very many friends. He's been involved in quite a few crashes this weekend, getting together with other cars. I didn't see what happened in this one, but man, he's definitely turned over, and you see the left front. Actually, it could be the right front laying there behind the right rear. Both looks like maybe both front tires are gone. He's climbing out, as you can see. He's getting out safely.
Former crew member for Steve Kinzer.
That's actually Jason Johnson.
Oh, Jason, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a crew chief. Or yeah, was a crew member on Steve Kinzer's car.
So Jeff Johnson out, and we'll be back for more live coverage from Knoxville here on Speed Channel. We're at the Nationals.
In 2002, Ford won 14 Cup races.
And at the end of the season, 7 of the top 10 cars were Fords.
In fact, Ford was the first to win 500 Cup races. Victories that brought Ford
15 manufacturers' championships.
that makes Ford, the team to watch.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
For the past 20 years, Hooters has been there. Which is why, as we celebrate our 20th anniversary, we can now say what the skeptics have been saying all along. We're history. Hooters, still winging it after all these years. Come celebrate Hooters' 20th anniversary with 20% off food and merchandise the 20th of every month.
Optima batteries with spiral cell AGM technology offer twice the life and more than 15 times the vibration resistance of ordinary batteries. In fact, the spill-proof six-pack design is tough enough to outlast practically everything, including your vehicle. Optima, the ultimate power source.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals. as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
Speed Channel's coverage of the Knoxville Nationals is brought to you by Ford. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. And by Visit Australia, the down and dirty, down under winter racing capital. Well, there was a crash just moments ago here at Knoxville, and that's why we're under the red flag condition. The cleanup continues here as they pull the 11J of Johnson off the track. While they continue to do the cleanup, we'll take care of some more commercials. We can show you more green flag racing when we return to the 43rd annual Knoxville Nationals.
The reason we race is simple. It's where we get a lot of our best ideas.
This Sunday on Speed, MotoGP at the Czech Grand Prix. Budweiser hydroplanes at Tri-Cities, Washington. World Rally Finland is all about big air. All this Sunday, only on Speed.
This is what?
What happened here?
Just playing some one-on-one, got a little rough.
Let's get him out.
Guys!
Oh, I don't want you to do anything yet. I just want to see your price and some of the prices of your competitors.
What? Hey, come on, guys.
I just want to get the best deal. You know?
Our customers know the importance of shopping around, because at Progressive.com you can get our price for car insurance, plus the rates of other big name companies, and that could save you hundreds.
If you're not shopping around, you could be losing a lot of money.
Shop here first. Give us a call or visit Progressive.com, your best source for finding a great deal. Join the over 11 million people who choose Progressive for low rates and fast, friendly service.
I'll be out here in a second. Just
Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Not what you'd expect from an insurance company.
They've finished cleanup here at Knoxville. The cars are back underway, and we're getting set to hopefully conclude the D feature here tonight. They'll be going green this time by. Jared Hall and Justin Henderson have the top two spots. Tony Lutar and Jonathan Allard are sitting in third and fourth. Top two cars transfers, so those two have a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, they do, and I mean, anybody behind them are going to need a lot of restarts, possibly to keep up with these guys, to make a move on a restart when that's the slowest lap. They don't want them to get too strung out.
Coming to the green. Keeping our eyes on that battle for third. That's the final transfer spot. That's Allred in the 35. On the outside, Lutar in the 4. The red car. Jonathan Allard won the Dave Bradway Memorial out in Chico, California earlier this year. A strong runner, has competed with the Outlaws some this year. And Lutar certainly has plenty of practice running.
Yeah, really. And I mean, but Allard's not running a lot of big racetracks, being from California, mostly smaller racetracks. Doing a pretty good job, but again, only top two go. So these guys back there racing each other, that's kind of slowing them down a little bit as the leaders get away.
Jonathan Allard in that white 35 trying to catch that red 50 you saw just going by. That's Jared Hall, the race leader here in the D feature. Switching down to the bottom, and that might work for Tony Lutar. It looks like he's going to catch Henderson for the transfer spot. On the bottom, and he's going to get it.
And he makes it work. The racetrack is great right now. Moisture all over the place. The shortest line around is the bottom, and there's quite a bit of moisture down there, and Lutar made it work.
And Tony, if he can really get the momentum up, Brad, because this is a very momentum-style racetrack, might have a shot at even catching the 50 of Jared Hall, and now Henderson might even lose third. To the bottom, with the side job goes Jonathan Allard.
Yeah, he's slow, and just looks like that car, there's something really wrong with Henderson. He's way off the pace now, so something going on there.
Justin Henderson, son of Ron Henderson, a former competitor in sprint car racing.
And a crew member, Guy Forbrook and others, and there's Henderson slowing out of turn 4.
And if he does not get off the racetrack, it could bring out a yellow as he's rolling along the front straightaway, and the yellow is out in Doug Clark's hands. Actually, 2 cars have slowed. There's another one is slowed just coming out of turn 4 as well. There's the other car.
So the X car just stopped out of turn 4 and rolled up there to a stop. Don't know what Swenson. I think that's Swenson.
That's the Swenson car. Chuck Swenson. Well, while we're waiting to get Chuck Swenson off the racetrack, let's go downstairs and visit with Dave Argabright.
Well, Ralph, Paul McMahon, you've had a great week here at the Nationals. You start 3rd in tonight's main event. That's your best start ever. What do you have to do to win this race tonight?
I just think the guy that makes the least amount of mistakes is the guy's going to win. The other night there, I made a couple mistakes and cost me a few spots, but I just think the guy that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win.
Is that more challenging here, overcoming the mental mistakes more than the physical fatigue?
I mean, yeah, driving the race car is what we do every day, and you just got to concentrate. And being the Knoxville Nationals, you tend to overdrive the race car. So now you want to forget that it's the Knoxville Nationals. You want to just say, hey, it's 30 laps. We do this every day, 30 lap main events, and try not to make a mistake.
Well, we wish you well and wish you a good race in tonight's 30 lap feature. Paul McMahon.
Well, that's some of the nerves I talked about. You have to get your nerves under control, and as he said, not overdrive the car or try to reinvent the wheel just because it's Knoxville Nationals.
That's Paul McMahon's Vibrant 11H right there. And it's hard to do that, Brad, when there's 40,000 people screaming and yelling and carrying on a real party atmosphere going on here in Knoxville. A lot of excitement in the air. Hard to find a place where you can go calm down. And since they don't allow the transporters into the infield, there's no place to go and hide.
Well, like we saw earlier, Steve Kinzer sitting up on the mule or whatever, tire sitting down there. As I said then, he's even nervous. I mean, everybody here is as nervous as they can at any event in the world because this is the Knoxville Nationals.
It's an individual thing of how you go to find yourself a place to stay calm. What did you do?
Just worked on the race car, just tinkered, changed, and just checked and rechecked and walked around the car and all that stuff. And you try to just focus that and block everybody else out, it's around you, and try to focus on your race car.
Top 2 transfer, 4 laps to go here in our D feature. Jared Hull up front, Tony Lutar right behind him, and John Allard right behind him in that white 35, and Egan in the 4. John Egan. Boy, look at Allard making a run at him in the 35. He takes second. That puts him right into the feature. And look at now, the 4 car has slowed down. That's why we have the problem with Tony Lutar. He broke. So we're going to have the 2 cars making the run to the checkered flag here and moving on to the C feature as we go back to the lead battle now. Coming through turns 3 and 4. There it is.
And Allard's getting faster, Ralph. Lap after lap. Again, he's trying his best, but boy, hopefully he's keeping in mind the top 2 go to the next race. Don't make any mistakes. Don't crash the car. Don't run over the guy in front of you. So right now he should be focusing on what his race car might need for the next event.
White flag is out. 1 lap to go in the D feature, and I think he's going to get him. On the outside, oh, watch out. You don't want to be banging wheels now, and they do. They just did. The worst thing you could possibly do at this point.
Boy, that's trying a little too hard. I mean, like I said, second's good enough. Just get into the next race and take a chance of taking himself out there.
Jared Hall takes the checker. Jonathan Allen will finish in second, but he will get the transfer to the C feature. Let's see if anybody's got a tire going down after that, Brad.
Yeah, Allard looks good there. So nope, everything looks okay. Just they actually Allard's left front hit the 50 car's right rear as they came out of turn 2.
All right, so finally the D feature is done, and we're ready next for the C feature as we continue our march towards that $125,000 check.
To a driver, fear isn't going full wide into a turn.
Fear isn't driving into a cloud of smoke at 200 miles per hour. Fear is not getting sideways an inch from the wall. That's because Ford dominated
last year's Cup Series.
With 7 Fords finishing in the top 10.
Top 10.
7 Fords. So fear in the racing world is looking in the rearview mirror and seeing one of us.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
Are you in on it? To find better travel deals, use Cheap Tickets' advanced fare search technology. Go to travel.cheaptickets.com for even lower prices on cars, cruises, and vacation packages. Or call now. Why just save on airfares? Now find the lowest hotel prices. 110% guaranteed. Cheap Tickets, the best kept secret in travel.
Saving your tax dollars with asphalt recycling systems. Wertgen, Vogela, Hahn. Wertgen Group.
Sprint car racing here tonight, but tomorrow on Speed Channel, a big two-wheel day. MotoGP 250 class from the Czech Grand Prix tomorrow at 12 p.m. Followed up at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon with the MotoGP World Championship Czech Grand Prix. Here on board with Jason Sides as he's idling around, getting ready for the B main hot laps. We'll see Jason racing here in a few minutes. Let's show you the results from the D feature. Jared Hall and Jonathan Allard will transfer to the C feature. Aaron Berryhill and the rest are done for this year's Knoxville Nationals. Well, he was the PA announcer here at the Knoxville Raceway for 8 years, and now he's the newest member to get a Speed logoed shirt and a microphone to hold. Say hello to Tony Baco.
Well, thanks, Ralph. 1 week ago, Jared Hall got his first 410 win at Knoxville. Tonight, Jared, the D-Main winner. Congratulations.
Yeah, they started off this week. We had a bad heat race, and it's put it behind the 8 ball all week. But I got to thank Scott Bowen and Richie Rue. They put a good car on us tonight. We was running real good there in the D-Main there, and started running out of fuel. Had a lot of cautions, and I seen that car coming around me on the top. I kind of moved out to Blackest Groove, had to do what I had to do, but we're just thankful we finished. It was cutting out pretty bad.
1 lap to go. You bumped wheels. What'd you think?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be close, and like I said, he'd have done the same thing. It's just one of those racing deal. We want to stand on the podium at the end of the night.
You're on your way forward.
Thank you, sir.
Well, there's a look at them banging wheels as they came off of turn 2 on that last lap, and that could have been disastrous. Another man who will be hoping to put his name on a trophy from here at Knoxville sits with our Dave Arterbright.
Well, Ralph, Kenny Jacobs, you've had a great run this week. You start 5th. Nervous?
Well, I don't know if I'm real nervous about the run. We came here, we sure didn't expect to be in the position we're in. We really don't have the equipment to be here, and Bob Kreiner came along, gave us a motor, and everything just went uphill from there. So I'm not nervous too much about the race.
You know, it's very difficult to get into a position to win this. Does that add to some of the pressure that it's not often that you're in such a good starting spot at the Knoxville Nationals final?
Well, I think any time that you start thinking you have a chance to win this race, there becomes a lot of pressure and a lot of butterflies. And I've been in this position a couple times. I haven't never won the race, and I'd sure like to do it this time. My daughter's here with all of our Winston Cup friends. Jeff Green and his guys are here, and I sure don't want to look bad in front of her friends.
Well, just think of it as a great opportunity to show off, and we wish you well in this feature event.
I'm going to show off all I can.
On board with Jason Sides, hot lap session. What's he trying to do now, Brad?
Just feel the race car. He's got just a couple laps here to feel this thing, go back and tell his crew chief it's tight here, it's loose there. We need to make these changes possibly. Not a lot of movement in the steering wheel. That's a good sign. The racetrack's in good shape. When you see the driver really thrashing on the wheel, he's in trouble. Right now, he looks real good.
And he wants to move around that racetrack too, doesn't he?
If he's smart, he will. He won't just run one groove. He'll move up to top to bottom there. He reaches up and pulls the tear off. That's all the longer that takes. Again, you see him counter steer. That's because the back of the car slides out. A little bit of a push there. Actually looking really good right now.
Not a lot of bouncing around either. Now we get the other view out in the front.
Shows the speed a little bit. Boy, this is as close to being in the cockpit as you could be. Been on the bottom, sliding up. Now he's got the right rear up on the cushion. Down the front straightaway. Racetrack starting to slick off. Just, oh boy, you see him there, had to counter steer. That other car kind of slid up in front of him.
Yellow flag is out, and Jason Sides is done with his warm-up. We go to Tony Baco.
Great job. You guys bumped wheels on the white flag lap there.
Yeah, I got going in the corner and gained a lot of momentum, and Jared slid up in front of me, and you know, I just wanted to get out of the gas. Once we touched, I wanted to get out of the gas and just make sure we made it through to second. And Jared ran a great race. He did what he had to do, and I'm glad we came home second.
You don't have a lot of time to change things. What are you going to do for the next feature?
Well, we got to change the fuel a little bit. The air's changed a lot from last night, and we got to tune up on the motor. That way we don't hurt it in the main event coming up. And we're going to tighten the car up a little bit so we can get around the top a little better.
Can you come from the back?
It's going to be tough. There's a lot of good people out here, and we're going to give her a heck of a shot.
Let's go back upstairs.
Chico, California's Jonathan Allard, ready to go racing in the C feature. When we come back, there's the Queen in her court from this year's Nationals.
Inside's the difference. It's what's inside that makes the difference. Between just handling the road, attacking, and scorching the pavement. Between just moving and riding curves like you're on rails. Between just going and tearing the wind in half. The 227 horsepower, turbocharged, all-wheel drive Subaru WRX. Subaru, driven by what's inside.
Your weeknights just got a whole lot faster. NASCAR TV, the world of NASCAR, weeknight 6 to 8 and all night Friday. Autofocus, different shows each night where the cars are the stars. Wind Tunnel, Dave, motorsports newsmakers, and you. Racing, adrenaline junkies, strap in. Check out the new lineup. Whatever you're into, it's all about speed.
Every day, Ameridebt helps more people with money problems. People like Tom Baker.
My credit card debt was outrageous. Then I called Ameridebt. They contacted my creditors and got my payments almost cut in half. Now I have only one small monthly bill.
Ameridebt is a nonprofit organization that offers free consultations to consumers seeking to eliminate their debt. People like the Shaws.
Every month I pay our credit card bills, but the balances never seem to get smaller.
Ameridebt got our interest rates reduced, and now the balances are dropping dramatically.
And what's even more amazing is our payments are less than before.
Just call this number, and regardless of your credit, in minutes you can join the thousands of people who have turned their financial lives around. People like Maria Rinaldi.
Before I called Ameridebt, the creditors were calling every day. I thought bankruptcy was the only way out. Now I'm debt-free, and my credit rating has been restored.
Call 1-800-346-1206. Ameridebt, helping America get out of debt.
Many famous faces have visited Knoxville Raceway in 1980. Al Unser Sr., the four-time Indy 500 winner, and his son Al Jr., the two-time winner. Kenny Schrader, Winston Cup star in 1983. Some guy named Doty back in 1985, finished sixth that year. Billy Bolt, pole winner at Indianapolis in 1985. Four-time Winston Cup champion Jeff Gordon here in 1989. There's the car that he drove, the famed 23S. And a lady who made it from Knoxville to the Brickyard, Sarah Fisher, getting ready back in 1997. There she was in that Meade 9F. Now there's another soon-to-be famous lady here this year, the first lady ever to make it into the A feature. That 16 will be driven by Erin Crocker, 22 years old here tonight.
Boy, I'll tell you what, she is an awesome sprint car driver. I saw her for the first time at Eldora a few weeks ago in a 360. Her first 410 race was last week. She's in the Knoxville Nationals, her first time ever.
C feature cars are out on the track. Let's take you quickly through the grid. Tim Kading, last year's King of California. Dennis Moore Jr., a lot of attitude in that young man. Ricky Logan, Ryan Coneyam, ready to go in row number 2. Jason Johnson and Brian Paulus, the fast man. Paulus from Pennsylvania. Danny Smith, a veteran who you've raced with a lot.
Yes, he's been around a lot of times, and he's probably a little nervous himself tonight too, but he's got a long way to go.
Ranky and Garner, Johnny Herrera and Randy Hannigan, a pair of outlaws buried in row 6.
Well, it's a tough field, isn't it? I mean, the B main like this is an A main anywhere in the world.
And another Kinzer, Kelly, you saw back in row 7. And look at row 8, Travis Ryland out of California, Freddie Raymer from Pennsylvania, 2 very fast drivers.
Again, champions from all around the world this weekend here, and again, it shows with the talent that's in this C feature.
You met Kenny Jacobs, there's his brother Dean, and rounding out the field, Jared Hall, Jonathan Allard. Remember, just 2 drivers out of this will make their way to the B feature as they try to work their way through the alphabet, the race analysis. 22 cars, 15 laps, 2 cars going on to that B feature.
Boy, Johnny Herrera stuck back here, had some bad luck the other night, got together with the car and crashed and destroyed the car, and that put him deep in the field for tonight's C main. We're going to get a chance to see it here.
That was Wednesday night when this took place. Watch the 5 car of Herrera just get caught up in it.
Yep, the Jeff Johnson got into the back of the Jason Myers. Herrera had nowhere to go, and it destroyed that car. It shoved the front frame over about a foot. They had to build a brand new race car.
Jeff Johnson's getting taken off a lot of Christmas card lists this week, isn't he?
He's not making many friends.
Getting ready to come to the green. There's Herrera, the working 5.
One of the few cars on Goodyears.
In the field, the teal, leading them to the line is Tim Kading. We're green. Everybody through 1 and 2, and down the backstretch we go. Kading out front. 1 car slowing, that's Dennis Moore, who started on the front row of the
Problems right off the bat, Ralph, going into turn 1. He and Tim Kading, although Dennis Moore's from this area, raced a lot of laps here at Knoxville. He's been running in California, doing a lot of laps. Look, he's telling the push truck to come and get me, come and get me. He thinks there's something that he can fix and possibly get back going again.
Dennis Moore comes to a stop, and now he can get, if it is a flat tire, for example, he can get the tire changed, but then he'll go to the back.
Well, but the car's rolling up there. All the tires look like they're up. I don't know if it jumped out of gear or what it might be, but yeah, anytime you stop on the racetrack, you go to the tail.
Let's check in with Dave Argabright.
Well, Ralph, Lance DeWeese is one of the very best sprint car drivers in the country, but tonight he finds himself starting 4th in the B main, fighting for a transfer spot. Lance, what can you do from this point if you're able to work into the A?
Well, I mean, the racetrack needs to get a little bit wider for us to move up through in the A, but our main concern right now is try to make it through that B and get locked in the A. Then hopefully we just go racing, try to go as far forward as we can. Right now the racetrack's a little narrow, and that's giving a lot of guys a little bit of problem right now.
You come a long way from Pennsylvania to run this race. Describe the difficulty, the emotion, the heartache of having a tough qualifying night.
Well, yeah, everything's on your first 2 laps on your preliminary night, and we didn't time good at all, and that put us behind the 8 ball, and we've been working hard ever since trying to catch back up. And each event we've ran since then, we've been getting a little bit better and a little bit better, and we felt pretty good in hot laps, so hopefully we'll be able to win this B main and get ourselves in the A and get this working group Mannheim Auto Auctions car up front.
Came a long way, and he's going to give it a good hard ride in the B main, Lance DeWeese.
There's Dennis Moore's car being worked on. Dennis, as we mentioned, a native of Iowa, racing in California, and he finished 2nd in the points out there this year. Let's check in with Tony Bakoven, who can add more on this story.
Well, Ralph and Brad, Dennis said some vibrations under the hood, so the crew's just checking things out. They're looking at the high-speed bypass for the fuel right now, just making sure everything's put together properly, make sure no spark plug wires are off. Go back upstairs.
Brad, the clock is ticking for Dennis Moore.
Yeah, he said vibration. It sounded like something's missing. We heard Jared Hall talk about that, his motor missing and stuff too. But whether a plug wire, they would have been down there checking the plug wire, so obviously they think it's a fuel problem. If what they're working on the high speed stuck, it's loading too much fuel in the engine, that makes it flood out and vibrate.
Now we heard Jonathan Allard as we take a look at the top 5 as they currently stand, talking about how the air has changed here tonight. How much of that will be affecting maybe what we're seeing with Dennis?
These guys have to tune these engines all night long under the conditions of what the air is like, how much humidity, how dense the air is, that kind of thing, what the air temperature is, what the altitude is. They're all night fooling with these things. They try not to put any more fuel than they possibly can, because again, you flood the engine, it takes horsepower away, so they want them as lean as they can and get the optimum horsepower. As Dennis pushes back off, getting up, he's pulling back in, so obviously he feels that the problem's not fixed.
and he's not going to have a chance now because the pace truck is off, and Tim Koenig has got the field over in turn 3, and he'll be bringing them up to speed with Brian Paulus glued right to his tail. Remember, 2 transfer, those 2 hold it right now. Conium 1 spot out of a trip to the beat. Green flag. Oh, one to the wall. Up and over. Can't see the number for here, who that was.
Yeah, I can't tell.
You can see him moving around, though.
You can see the fuel tank come off and lay, with luckily no fire, laying on the racetrack.
It's Kirchner, Mike Kirchner in the 80K. Mike Kirchner in the 80K.
Looked like he just maybe got in a little too high or something and jumped the cushion, tagged the wall. You see the right rear rim is bent where he banged the wall, and that's what started the series of flips.
Safety crew over there right away. Let's take a look at this, Brad. Looks like he just gets way up there.
Yeah, he got in. Looked like it took a big push, fell on the right front tire, and just drove him straight up in the wall. And you can see there at these speeds, and there's the fuel tank laying there. There's nothing he could do at that point but hang on. As a driver, you know when that thing's sliding like that toward the wall, you basically just grab a hold of the steering wheel as tight as you can. You tuck your head down because you know it's going to hit, and that's the result.
Let's take a look at this now from turn 1 at real speed.
That's just how quickly it all happens.
And that big wing mounted on the roof of the car, working as much of a pillow as it can to absorb some of that impact.
Exactly, and it also is like a wind drag as the car's flipping through the air. That big thing up there, all that surface helps slow the car and slow the flip down. When the race car lays on it, it actually cushions the blow and helps keep it from flipping. As you can see, the driver out probably mad right now, but he's okay.
Well, Mike Kirchner from Fredonia, Wisconsin. His Nationals have come to an end, but we have plenty more for you coming up here on Speed Channel when we return for more live coverage from Knoxville.
In 2002, Ford won 14 Cup races.
And at the end of the season, 7 of the top 10 cars were Fords.
In fact, Ford was the first to win 500 Cup races. Victories that brought Ford
15 manufacturers' championships.
That makes Ford, the team to watch.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Hey, where are the things? Tickets. Where are the tickets?
In your shirt pocket.
Cab will be here in a minute. See if the flight's on time.
I'm on it.
Is everything here?
Yeah, everything.
My blue swimsuit?
Mm-hmm.
Sunscreen?
15 and 30.
Beach towels.
Beach towels, snorkels, flip-flops. Camcorder.
Get a new one fast. With Circuit City's Express Pickup, you can order online and pick up in minutes. Circuit City, we're with you.
I'll just keep this up front.
For the past 20 years, Hooters has been there. Which is why, as we celebrate our 20th anniversary, we can now say what the skeptics have been saying all along. We're history. Hooters, still winging it after all these years. Come celebrate Hooters' 20th anniversary with 20% off food and merchandise the 20th of every month.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
Speed just made your weeknights a whole lot faster. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, it's Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. Dave, motorsports newsmakers, and you. Whatever you're into, it's all about speed.
Well, a huge crowd watching sprint car racing tonight. Tomorrow, they'll be watching Speed News NASCAR edition at 7 p.m. with Bob Varsha and Steve Burns will bring you up to speed on everything that took place at Michigan tomorrow. And, of course, Speed News Sunday at 7:30. Highlights and analysis from here in Knoxville, followed up by NASCAR Victory Lane at 8 o'clock. We'll be green in one more lap, says Doug Clark. So we'll watch for the pace truck. It has pulled off. And Tim Kading has the field idling around the backstretch. 2 cars, remember, out of this one to the B.
And we heard Lance DeWeese say that the racetrack basically is just too good a shape right now, meaning it's too sticky, it's too fast, it's narrow, it's not a not a lot of opportunity to pass these guys. So the more they run on it, the drier it's going to get, the more chance these guys will have to pass each other.
Tim Kading, one of those California drivers that spends most of his time running on a short track, but he did win at the big half mile in California, Calistoga, so he's used to it now, and he paces them to the green. Kading in that teal-colored machine, screaming down the backstretch, in and out of turns 3 and 4 with the lead. Oh, and another one, slowing Gianetto. Gianetto comes to a stop, and we'll head down to Victory Lane where Dave Argabright has a man whose father won this event.
Well, and his father won the race, Ralph, and 2 weeks ago, Joey Saldana became a father. Young Reese Saldana, born back in Indiana. How's that for added stress in your life?
Actually, it hasn't added any stress. My wife's doing an excellent job with him, and she came out here just to support me, and hopefully I could do a good job. I think she thought that, having all that going on right now would keep my mind out of racing, but, this is the biggest race of the year, and try not to disappoint him. I got a new guy I got to take care of, so just trying to do a good job for him and her.
Real quickly, your dad won this race in 1970. What would it mean to you to win the Knoxville Nationals?
Oh, it'd mean everything. I mean, this race has been around forever for sprint car guys, and really to be the first father and son to win it would be awesome. And, it's just, I think right now Steve Kinzer and Craig Kinzer would be the only 2 guys I know of that could do it. And my dad already won it, and I feel like we got the capability of doing it. We just got to get it done. And, I'm proud of my dad for what he accomplished. So hopefully I could do something like this so Reese can appreciate what I've done in racing.
Just remember tonight, baby needs a new pair of shoes. Back upstairs, Ralph.
Jesse Gianetto's incident has been moved off of the racetrack, and we're getting ready to go one more lap. It looked like we were going to go green, but we're going to have to make one more lap. Tony Bachkoven.
Well, thanks, Ralph. Mike, did something break on the car when you went into turn 1 and 2?
Yeah, I mean, we think so. There's a lot of stuff that's broke now, but that's sure the way it felt. We got in the corner good, and next thing you know, you're just up in the wall.
Is it going to be able to be fixed, or is this one a scrap?
I think it looks all right. We got some work to do, but I think we'll get her back together, and she'll be running laps once again.
Your team's had a tough week here with your teammate Kim Mock.
Yeah, I know I'm sure Kim's watching right now, so we tried, bud. So this one, we miss him a lot, and hopefully he gets a soon recovery.
Better luck next time.
Thanks a lot.
Let's go back upstairs.
What he's talking about, Kim Mock on his qualifying night took a nasty tumble down the front straightaway. Many flips and barrel rolls, but spent the night in the hospital, but was released. He's okay, just a little stiff and sore. So it has been a bad week for that team.
That it has. Top 2 transfer as we go back to green. Scheduled for 15 laps. And there's the battle for the lead. Kading out in front. Brian Paulus in the salad car, moving up top.
Well, you can see some dirt or mud flying off of the tires of Tim Kading. There's still a lot of moisture down there, but Paulus with the outside there, momentum going up. If Tim Kading makes any mistake at all, Paulus will pounce on him.
You can carry a lot more momentum up around the high side, but it's a further distance to travel.
Long way around, and there again you see Paulus made a little mistake, just got a little high and losing ground now to Kading.
There's Johnny Herrera in the 5 car, trying to work his way up. He's up to 6th place. That's not going to get it done.
That's Jason Johnson in the 22, going for 4th spot right there, I believe.
That looks like the 88 and the 55. Yep, 22 and the 55. Garner in the 55. Johnson in the 22.
So he moves into 4th. These guys, we just talked about him and Johnny Herrera. When the cars get strung out like this, they need another yellow. I hate to keep seeing all these stoppages, but those drivers are hoping the yellow comes out now to bunch the field back up.
10 laps left to go in the C feature.
And the track is starting to wide out a little bit. There's Fred Raymer, and there's Johnny Herrera.
Raymer, one of the fastest ever out of Pennsylvania. Right now, Fast Freddy back in 8th. As we go back to the front, Kading, Paulus.
Boy, the track has changed a lot here just in the last few laps. It's starting to get hard, and if you start to shine up a little bit, that means it's getting hard packed and more wheel spin.
The white 22 of Johnson working on the bottom. He takes over third. That moves Logan in the 17G back to fourth. Ricky Logan out of Little Rock, Arkansas, trying to catch back up to Eunice, Louisiana's Jason Johnson.
Boy, for sure, Johnson needs a caution to catch up with those two cars in front. There's no way he has enough laps left to run them down, even if he was significantly faster. So he's going to have a caution, I think, to transfer.
There's the interval back to third. You can see it as Paulus goes by. There is Johnson. It's Kading, Paulus, Johnson, Logan, and Garner, your top 5.
Well, that's frustrating, too, is Johnson back there. You're running as hard as you can, and you just don't see a lot of ground being made up. You don't see that you're closing in on him. If you're smart, you move around all over the racetrack trying to find a faster line. But, again, he's so far back that I don't know if he can catch him.
There's a battle for ninth. Fred Raymer and Randy Hannigan in that black 1X. And now a battle for the lead brewing. Kading still working the bottom. Paul is still working upstairs.
Ryan way up there, got the right rear, actually both wheels. He gets caught for turn 2 and passes Kading down the back straightaway.
Looked like Kading missed the corner and went off the line a little bit, and that allowed Paulus to get by, but here comes Kading charging back.
Well, that was that one little mistake I was talking about. Now, running around the bottom when it's slicking off like that, talking about Tim Kading there on the bottom, if you slide up a little bit, Paulus gets trapped behind the lap car.
That's going to open the door back up for Kading if he can get to 3 first, and he can't.
But the same lap car held Kading up as they went into turn 3.
That's going to allow Paulus to get up top. Kading's going to have to join him with 2 to go.
What I was saying about Kading making a mistake, the track's getting slick enough now. If you miss the line by 6 inches on that bottom, you slide up into that slicker part of the racetrack and you lose traction, but here he comes back on the bottom.
Boy, Tim loves that bottom groove. He drops right back to it. 1 to go. He's got the advantage. And another lap car possibly in the way. That's Wimmer. Brandon Wimmer, the youngster. What's he going to do?
He's clear out of the way of Kading. Kading's going to take the win.
Tim Kading battles back, takes the checkered flag, but Brian Paulus will join him in the B feature. Just missing the transfer is Johnson. Logan finishes in 4th, Garner in 5th, and Johnny Herrera, a former track champion here in Knoxville, will watch the Nationals from the grandstands. We're coming back to Knoxville. Stay with us.
The reason we race is simple. It's where we get a lot of our best ideas.
Mondays on Speed, get inside Winston Cup. Michael, Johnny, Alan, and Kenny recap Sunday's race like no one else.
I wouldn't tell a lot of people that you're thinking like Mike, but
I mean, if they like watching the crashes, that's fine with me.
On the track Sunday, I passed Bill Elliott. On the air Monday.
Oh, watch this. I was hoping this wouldn't be on tape.
It's going to be a drag race. They touch, they touch. Inside Winston Cup, Monday nights at 7, exclusively on Speed.
This is what?
What happened here? Just playing some one-on-one, got a little rough. Let's get him out.
Guys!
Oh, I don't want you to do anything yet. I just want to see your price and some of the prices of your competitors.
What? Hey, come on, guys.
I just want to get the best deal. You know?
Our customers know the importance of shopping around, because at Progressive.com you can get our price for car insurance, plus the rates of other big name companies, and that could save you hundreds.
If you're not shopping around, you could be losing a lot of money.
Shop here first. Give us a call or visit Progressive.com, your best source for finding a great deal. Join the over 11 million people who choose Progressive for low rates and fast, friendly service.
I'll be out here in a second. Just
Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Not what you'd expect from an insurance company.
Plenty of things to do when you come to the Marion County Fairgrounds. Of course, you got to hit all the t-shirt trailers. Sprint car guys in and out of the car wash all week long. And Folks lining up on Highway 14, watching everything go by. Gotta get the Nationals shirt. Got mine. Did you get the flamed out mailbox, Brad?
No, but I know you've got one.
I do. Here's the results from the C feature, which just completed. Tim Kading won it. Brian Paulus finished second. That gives them both an automatic berth in the B feature. Jason Johnson, Ricky Logan, Clint Garner, and Johnny Herrera, and the rest all missed this. Now downstairs is the man that won this race. He's the winner here tonight.
Well, Tim, you proved why you're the king of California. The last 5 laps, they really made you work for it.
Yeah, you know, Brian Paulus got around us there. We kind of got messed up. A little bit of grease got thrown up on the bottom of the track. And I just held my own, stuck to the bottom. We've been good there all weekend. This ABC Ready Mix number 7 here has just been fast. And I got to thank my crew and everybody that's helped us out. Just say hi to everybody back home. I don't know.
Were you worried when you got with the lap cars around the bottom?
Not really. I mean, the car was real decent up top. We just kind of cruised around, and you know, the bottom was a lot faster. I thought my car was better down there. So, you know, the B main's coming up. Hopefully, we can get up to the top 5 and or top 4 and transfer into the feature tonight.
You talked about grease out on the racetrack. Tell us what you mean by that.
There's just a little bit of grease laying on the infield, and people are getting down in there and pulling it out on the track. And I hit it a couple times and almost spun out, and I think that's how Paul has caught back up to us. So, you know, I'm thankful that I kind of moved around, and we're making it. We're going to the B this time, and this is the first we've been, so we're happy right now.
Let's go to Dave Argabright.
Well, it's very, very difficult to win the Knoxville Nationals, and even after you do, you've got one more detail to worry about, and it happens right here. The car must weigh 1,375 pounds with driver. There's always a lot of drama here on the scales, because if you don't make weight, they score you last.
All right, Dave, thanks. There is Erin Crocker right there, the young lady we were telling you about, the first ever female to make it into the A main at the Knoxville Nationals. And Brad, she's getting ready for the A main hot lap session.
She is unbelievable for all the more experience she has in 410 racing, and come out here to Knoxville for the Knoxville Nationals to be in the show. I mean, there's a lot of guys here that a lot of experience that went home.
Steve Kinzer getting ready to get up to speed. There's Greg Hodnett right behind him. Jeff Shepard, you saw Sammy Swindell slide by. Tim Schaefer, I should say, in the 83 car. Here we go. Let's see where the king goes. Right to the bottom first, Brad.
But he will search around. This guy is the master, moving all over the racetrack to try to find a spot. Now there he goes in on the top of 1 and 2. Drives right by Brooke Tatnall.
There's Danny Lasowski, the JD Byrider number 20. On board with Erin Crocker. How's she doing?
Looking pretty good. You can listen to the throttle. She's wide open. There she lifted just a little bit because she went on the bottom. You have to lift. She's sliding across now, getting into the cushion, but she ran wide open the lap before. She runs in on the top. Yep, there you can hear it. Wide open, never lifted. Just try to keep that right rear up in the moisture.
Nobody's won more races here at this Speedway than this gentleman, Danny Lasowski, and he loves the bottom. Nicknamed Catfish because he's a bottom dweller. How will that greasy bottom affect his style?
Well, that's good right now. It's greasy. That means later on it's going to be tacky, and it's going to be some moisture down there. I'm sure he's smiling right now, but it's a little bit greasy because after the B main, maybe later on in the A main, that grease will become sticky, and that's where he likes it.
Smart enough to know he's got to check the top
got to move around
because he might need it later.
Absolutely, got to move around.
There goes Brooke Tatnall in the 66. There's Sammy Swindell. Only won it once. Can you believe that?
He's the Mario Andretti of the Knoxville Nationals. He's been here, this is his 30th year, and won it one time. Boy, he's just been snake bit at this place.
Ed Lynch in the 2L. See him up there. He'll be in the A main as well. And we'll be back for the B. Coming up live on Speed Channel. Stay with us.
To a driver, fear isn't going full wide into a turn.
Fear isn't driving into a cloud of smoke at 200 miles per hour. Fear is not getting sideways an inch from the wall. That's because Ford dominated last year's Cup Series
with 7 Fords finishing in the top 10.
Top 10.
7 Fords. So fear in the racing world is looking in the rearview mirror and seeing one of us.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Wednesday on Speed. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series
Bumping it back and battling through.
takes on Bristol. Red Hot Carl Edwards made it 2 in a row at Nashville and sealed the deal with his signature stunt. Now, NASCAR's tough trucks tackle the high banks of Bristol Motor Speedway. The O'Reilly 200 presented by Max Life, Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
If you suffer from acid reflux disease and the cost for your monthly prescription copay is burning a hole in your wallet, call this number for a special offer.
I need more money.
For what?
Your prescription copay.
Oh, no, that's crazy.
Well, the pharmacist told me about prescription generic omeprazole. He says most people save $10 to $25 each time.
Well, how do I get that?
You have to ask your doctor.
Do that right now. Over 2 million people have already taken prescription generic omeprazole. So call or visit our website and get your $10 rebate. Then ask your doctor if generic omeprazole is an option for your acid reflux disease.
Omeprazole may not be an option for everyone. The most frequent reported side effects with generic omeprazole are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Symptomatic relief does not rule out serious stomach conditions.
Well,
The doctor said, okay, we're gonna save a lot of money.
I feel better already. Call now or visit our website for your $10 rebate and more information on generic omeprazole.
We're back to Knoxville. Here's the breakdown of the 120 drivers that entered this year's Nationals. 109 of them came from the U.S., 5 from Australia, 4 from Canada, 2 from New Zealand. Very common that we see drivers from Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, truly an international event. But yeah, probably, well, next to the United States, Australia, then New Zealand, probably more sprint cars than anywhere in the world.
Now there are 10 drivers with points leads competing in major divisions around the country. Here's a list of them. Steve Kinzer and Darren Pittman, Travis Rylett in the middle of that. Travis, of course, the 2003 American Sprint Car Racing Series points leader. Brooke Tatnell having a good season as well. Brooke, the NCRA points leader. And Terry McCarl, 5 championships here at this racetrack. Earlier this week, the racing community and the sprint car family was touched tragically with the passing of Keith Hutton, who succumbed to injuries in a racing incident earlier in the week. Everybody will be carrying the 55 in memory of Keith this week on their race cars. And as they prepared to race the Kelly World Challenge last night, emotions were high. Prior to the green flag for the Kelly World Challenge, they ran a missing man formation in memory of Keith Hutton. Keith's wife Jenny waved the green flag in his honor. Marty Parovich took the early lead at the start in the white 17. 5th place starter Travis Rylett went up around the cushion in turns 1 and 2 and took the lead on the restart. The winner of the last 2 Kelly World Challenges, Donnie Schatz out of Minot, North Dakota, struggled on the bottom of his yellow 15, ended up 8th. Travis Rylett and Tweety Bird, however, were the 2 to beat on this night. In his first ever Kelly World Challenge, Travis took the checkered flag as the fireworks went off and the wing dance atop of Tweety Bird began in victory lane for Travis Rylett.
I'll tell you what, it feels good, man. I'm glad I got the chance to go race over New Zealand this year so we could be in the Kelly Challenge. I've watched this race every year and wish I could be in it. We're in it now, man. We've got some good sponsors over here, F&J Construction, Hallmark Trailers, AMD Processors. If it wasn't for those guys, it wouldn't be possible.
The results of the Kelly World Challenge, the top 5. Travis Rylett getting the win in his first shot at it. Ricky Logan, Kurt Winker, Danny Smith, Skip Jackson. Now they'll be heading over to Parramatta Speedway in Australia to begin it all over again. January 2004. Stay with us. We're coming back for more from the 43rd annual Knoxville Nationals.
For the past 20 years, Hooters has been there. Which is why, as we celebrate our 20th anniversary, we can now say what the skeptics have been saying all along. We're history. Hooters, still winging it after all these years. Come celebrate Hooters' 20th anniversary with 20% off food and merchandise the 20th of every month.
Come on, lads! Call yourselves soccer players? You're a bunch of idiots!
5-0, it's only half-time.
Easy, coach. You know what's missing?
Yeah, talent, commitment, skill, discipline.
No, that's not it. Our defense is great, but we have no winger. Professore, dottore, maestro, you must listen to me.
Speak English!
We need the wingers.
Look here, before the second half, we'll all drink Red Bull energy drink.
Why?
Because it gives you wings.
Where did he go?
Saving your tax dollars with asphalt recycling systems. Wirtgen, Vogela, Hahn. Wirtgen Group.
This Sunday on Speed. At noon, MotoGP World Championship. Motorcycle racing from the Czech Grand Prix. At 2, Budweiser hydroplanes roar on the Columbia River at Tri-Cities, Washington. Then at 6, World Rally Finland is the crossroads of high speeds and big air. Later at 9, F1 Decade, the 93 Monaco Grand Prix, the race never broadcast in America. That's all this Sunday, only on Speed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 42nd Mopar Plus Knoxville Nationals, the driver of the Quaker State car number 11, Steve Kinzer.
At 49 years of age, Steve Kinzer has won the biggest prize in sprint car racing an amazing 12 times in his legendary career. The king is on the prowl to be crowned once again here at Knoxville. There is that very intimidating number 11. You can see the other drivers that have won here as well, Brent.
Well, it's amazing. Out of 42 runnings, 3 guys have won 21 of those, exactly half. So you can see there Kenny Weld with 4, Doug with Wolfgang with 5, and Steve Kinzer got a little greedy and took 12 of them. So that's amazing that 3 guys have won half of the 42 races.
1 year, Eddie Levitt actually left the Nationals to go see the birth of his first son, Eddie Jr. He's racing here this year, Eddie Jr. is. Dave Argabright with the man who will start on the pole tonight.
Well, Ralph, one of the men who wants to break into that win column, Donnie Schatz, you've had a chance to get on the racetrack now for hot laps. Give me your assessment on where your race car is.
Pretty good. I didn't really push it as hard as I should have in hot laps to find out what's going on, but we need to decide on the right tires here and to see what, kind of predict what's going to be like at the end of the race. I felt really good, and, anytime you feel really good in hot laps, especially that close to the main, we're pretty excited.
You've been so close the last 3 years, yet it ended in heartache each of those 3 years, 2 seconds and then a crash 2 years ago. How do you deal with that emotional letdown after being so close at such a big event?
Well, I'm just telling myself right now, there's no way that I'm going to let anything happen here. Unless it's out of my control, but anything that I can do behind the wheel is going to happen tonight. And, it's not very, you never know if you're ever going to get this opportunity again to start like this and have as good a race car as we've had all week. And, we just go out and do the best we can. And, if we don't win, we don't win. And we just give it our all. And we're going to cross our fingers and hope this year we're a little bit lucky.
And we wish you well. He's calm and he's confident. Ralph?
Dave, let's take you quickly through the lineup for tonight's B main. Chad Kemena starts on the pole from the All-Star Series. The Prince, the son of the king, Craig Kinzer alongside of him. Travis Cram and Lance DeWeese, one of the strong runners out of Pennsylvania. Jamie Moyle, Calvin Landis as we work our way back through this. Brad again, Jeff Shepard, another strong competitor, very deep in the field.
Oh, yes, he is. And there's Jason Sides, Casey Kane. I mean, it's full field all the way back through. Again, a long way to go, though, Ralph.
Casey Kane finished second in the Busch Grand National race today, now strapped behind the wheel of the sprint car. The Wild Child, Jack Hodenshield, ready to go. Tyler Walker, way back in row 10. Then Kading and Paulus. There is Casey Kane. What a difference from a Busch car to that.
Wow, I'll tell you what, to go from running a big speedway like that in an asphalt stock car to get in a dirt slinging sprint car, man, that takes some talent.
Here we go. We're green with the B feature. Oh, trouble. One car flipping high in the air. Another car up and over. The red flag out immediately.
McCarl, I believe.
No, it's Josh Higday because McCarl's already in the A main.
Okay.
But it was a 24H is that red car. Josh Higday out of Des Moines, Iowa. And then the 21 car, Skip Jackson. So Josh is out, and here comes Skip.
Little tender there. You can see him, Skip Jackson, a little shaky.
Skip Jackson, one of the Australian drivers. Trying to focus yourself in that point?
Oh man, I tell you, every bone in your body hurts on a crash like that. Higday doesn't look too bad though, but man, he was higher than Skip Jackson, but Jackson hit that inside wall. Let's see what happens here. Oh, a couple cars get together.
It was Jackson that got into Higday, and then that started it all from there.
Yeah, don't know if Higday came up, Jackson came down. There's another car.
That's Hodenshield, isn't it?
Yep,
just sliding through.
Jack Hodenshield got the wing tore off. Boy, Higday was in the air, wasn't he? Had quite a bit of height there, but and Jackson bouncing off the inside wall.
The sensation when you flip through the air like that, Brad, is like what?
Usually, I mean, it happens so fast that your senses are gone. You don't know where you're at. You don't know if you're up or down or sideways. But boy, when they hit like that, I mean, it literally knocks the wind out of you, and I mean, it hurts. It's like falling off a two-story building.
We hear the saying, earth, sky, earth, sky, earth, sky. Live it with Josh Higday. It only hurts when you hit the dirt.
Yeah, when you're flipping through the air, that doesn't hurt. It's when you finally hit something.
Watch the 21 come down, right into Higday. Hodenshield gets taken out as well. And we have a wreck. Let's check in with Dave Hargreaves right now, standing by with a man who stands a chance of winning an unprecedented 13th Knoxville Nationals.
Well, Steve Kinzer, you've had your hot lap session. Give me an assessment on your race car right now.
Well, I was terrible out there hot lapping. We tried some different things and just felt terrible. So we just felt like what the setup we had wasn't good enough to get the job done for where we was at. And evidently what we put underneath the car was even worse. So we'll go back to where we was at and get what we can get out of this thing. Back where we're starting, I don't think we got much of a chance, but you never know what's going to happen.
What was it that you tried that did not work?
We just tried some different setups with bar, spring rates and things like that. But like I said, it didn't fit what we was trying to do, and so we'll go back to about basically the way to run the car on a qualifying night and just do the best we can.
I know this is not the position you want to be in starting 10th, but is that extra motivation to try even harder starting that far back?
Well, yeah, and we come out and we got a little bit of troubles in the scrambles car. Ran pretty decent preliminary night, but not as good as we wanted to. So, and then lost a motor, but we're struggling. Like you said, stranger things has happened, so you never know what's going to happen. But it don't look good there's too many good cars right in front of us there.
And I know you won't be giving up. Steve Kinzer starts 10th.
Let's show you that top 10 one more time. These are the 10 cars that have already locked themselves in. Schatz, Greg Hodnett, Paul McMahon, Daniel Lasowski, Kenny Jacobs, Shane Stewart, Darren Pittman, Sammy Swindell looking for win number 2, Kerry Madsen, the Madman, back in 9th, and the King in 10th. That's the top 10 for tonight's AMA.
And even Steve Kinzer, talked about him being nervous, but boy, he didn't show it there after being out in that race car. He seemed pretty calm and relaxed right now, but he knows coming from 10th, they had to try something. They did a little experimenting, and they're going to have to go back to what they know.
Obviously, we heard a lot about the racing this week, but there was a big news announcement this week. The folks at Boundless Motorsports have become the new owners of the World of Outlaws sanctioning body, and we'll hear a lot more about the future of wing sprint car racing in the coming weeks, possibly more about World of Outlaws on Speed Channel, we hope. Don Droude's car being worked on. He hopes to continue the B feature. Jack Hodenshield hoping to get his car ready. And we'll be back with more live coverage of the B feature from the Knoxville Nationals live on Speed Channel.
In 2002, Ford won 14 Cup races.
And at the end of the season, 7 of the top 10 cars were Fords.
In fact, Ford was the first to win 500 Cup races. Victories that brought Ford
15 manufacturers' championships.
That makes Ford, the team to watch.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Hey, where are the things? Tickets. Where are the tickets?
In your shirt pocket.
Cab will be here in a minute. See if the flight's on time.
I'm on it.
Is everything here?
Yeah, everything.
My blue swimsuit?
Mm-hmm.
Sunscreen?
15 and 30.
Beach towels.
Beach towels, snorkels, flip-flops, camcorder.
Get a new one fast. With Circuit City's Express Pickup, you can order online and pick up in minutes. Circuit City, we're with you.
I'll just keep this up front.
You want your car to last forever, right? How do you feel about friction, tightwad? Newsflash, pal. Over time, seals can bust.
Hey, hey!
Rings can blow. Don't forget metal to metal contact. This is Quaker State higher mileage engine, proven to reduce friction and condition seals. And it helps restore power in engines with over 75,000 miles.
You gonna pay for that?
Nope. Quaker State higher mileage engine, the power to reduce friction. Don't make me send you the lab results.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
Speed just made your weeknights a whole lot faster. Autofocus, Monday through Thursday from 8 to 9 Eastern. Different shows each night where the cars are the stars. Whatever you're into, it's all about speed.
We're back to Knoxville. And there you see Steve Kinzer's car. But we have a special guest joining us in the booth. The man that owns the number 20 car, just back from Michigan. And we're going to say back because we know this is kind of home ground for you, since that's one of your race cars right there. Tony Stewart, the reigning Winston Cup champ, joining us. Nice to have you back here.
You can say back because I've been out here since Monday afternoon, so I've been out here all week.
How's your car doing? Have you talked to your driver?
I haven't talked to him. He knows I'm here, but I didn't get a chance to see him before they started hot laps today. We had to get back from the Busch race. We brought Casey Kane back with us so he could run the B main here tonight, but didn't get a chance to talk to him, but watched him very intensely during the A main hot laps there a minute ago, and it looked like it was going around the bottom pretty good. So the way it rolled around the bottom, I know it'll roll around the top about the same. So I'm pretty excited for him.
Let's check in before we go any farther with you. Well, let's look at this real fast. There's Casey Kane's car, and I know he flew up with you. Did he say anything about getting ready for this on the way up in the plane? Was he okay physically and all that?
Well, anybody that knows Casey doesn't say anything. So
that's true.
Casey just kind of sat in the plane and just kind of relaxed. He doesn't get too excited about anything, but I know he was pretty excited. He had a great day today, qualified on the pole for the Busch race, ran second, and was real excited about coming here and running the B main tonight, hoping to make the show.
Dave Argerbright's with another gentleman who has a good shot at winning tonight's Knoxville Nationals.
Well, if you describe people who are long overdue here at the Knoxville Nationals, you got to consider Stevie Smith. You're in the A solidly. What can you do from here, Stevie?
Well, hopefully we're going to go forward. We had to start 13th, which is a decent spot, but we have our work cut out. The cars are all fast. The track looks real good, so we're hoping for the best.
You've had a chance now to get some track time with your race car. Give me a quick assessment on where you are with your car right now.
Well, it's been feeling really good until we just hot lapped. I wasn't very happy with it, so they're turning some screws right now, and hopefully they're in the right direction.
We wish you well and all the best in tonight's A main, Stevie Smith.
Well, Tony, I got to ask you, since I got you sitting here, I know you've been messing around with wing sprint cars. So we don't make Joe Gibbs nervous, when you're all done with Winston Cup racing, will we ever see you run the Knoxville Nationals?
I'm not sure you're going to have to wait for to quit driving for Joe. I know Joe's already in bed. That's why I'm not too worried about talking about it tonight. But no, I've been running a 360 car for actually for Danny Lasowski and George Lasowski. So it's kind of funny. We went to Sedalia, Missouri this year, and he ran the World of Outlaw race, and I ran the feeder series race with the Winged Outlaw Warriors, the 360 division. So we both got to run the same night. And I drove for him, and he drove for me in the same night. So neither one of us had any risk of getting fired.
Well, Tony, I talked about Casey Kane being versatile. You're one of the most versatile guys about getting in and out of a race car. How do you adapt to the different types of race cars?
You just learn. I mean, every one of these cars we drive, they all have 4 tires, and every car will either be tight, loose, or be in a 4-wheel drift. And you just learn the feel of the car. I mean, a guy that has a good seat of the pants feel will learn how to drive a car and what it likes and what it dislikes. So, race cars are pretty good about telling you what they want, and what they don't want. Obviously by the guys that have flipped tonight, they tell you exactly what they don't want.
Let's check in with Tony Baca.
Well, Skip, first of all, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just feel bad for all these guys that worked real hard all year. All year we've been racing real good, and we're hoping to maybe get it in. But
can you tell us what happened, you and Josh Higday getting together?
Not really. We just started a race, and I was trying to go as fast as I could, and fortunately somebody got in the left mirror. I'm not really sure what happened.
We're glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Ready to go back to green. Back at it with the B feature. Oh, and Kading's got a problem. The front wheel collapses on Tim Kading's 7T, and the former King of California grinds to a halt.
See both right front radius rods there, those silver rods, one of them's bent, the other one's torn off, just laying there by the headers. That's the control arms. There's a flat left rear tire on the 4K.
Possible wheel-to-wheel contact there in the 4K and the 7T. That's Light and Jeffrey out of Sydney, Australia.
I'd say Kading's right front probably getting into Jeffrey's left rear. Let's see what.
Here's Kading in the back right corner. Right into him they went.
One was coming up, one was coming down. Boy, that was lucky that we didn't see what we saw before with Kading folding the front end over like that. A lot of times the front frame rails will dig into the dirt and start to endo, and like we saw Higday a little while ago. Kading very lucky not to get upside down.
All right, well, we're gonna have to do a little more track cleanup, so we'll be returning to the Knoxville Raceway, Marion County Fairgrounds, right after this.
In 2002, Ford won 14 Cup races.
And at the end of the season, 7 of the top 10 cars were Fords.
In fact, Ford was the first to win 500 Cup races.
Victories that brought Ford 15 manufacturers' championships.
That makes Ford, the team to watch.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Speed just made your weeknights a whole lot faster. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, it's Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. Dave, motorsports newsmakers, and you. Whatever you're into, it's all about speed.
Every day, Ameridebt helps more people with money problems. People like Tom Baker.
My credit card debt was outrageous. Then I called Ameridebt. They contacted my creditors and got my payments almost cut in half. Now I have only one small monthly bill.
Ameridebt is a nonprofit organization that offers free consultations to consumers seeking to eliminate their debt. People like the Shaws.
Every month I pay our credit card bills, but the balances never seem to get smaller.
Ameridebt got our interest rates reduced, and now the balances are dropping dramatically.
And what's even more amazing is our payments are less than before.
Just call this number, and regardless of your credit, in minutes you can join the thousands of people who have turned their financial lives around. People like Maria Rinaldi.
Before I called Ameridebt, the creditors were calling every day. I thought bankruptcy was the only way out. Now I'm debt-free, and my credit rating has been restored.
Call 1-800-346-1206. Ameridebt, helping America get out of debt.
Wednesday night's another big night under the lights here on Speed Channel with live coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series from the High Banked Half Mile at Bristol. See it Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the home of the Craftsman Truck Series, Speed Channel. Now, A sprint car is a very unique animal, and we got Greg Hodnett to give us a tour around the number 12.
Sprint cars are open wheel race cars, obviously, no fenders, not like Jeff Gordon and them guys. Anyway, they're open wheel race cars. They weigh about 1,370 pounds to 75 pounds. That's our legal minimum weight limit with the driver. So the car actually weighs about 1,200 pounds, and we actually have to add weight to get to that point. So we got 1,375 pounds, between 800 and 840 horsepower, depending on how good your motor guy is, and my motor guy is the best. So I'm pushing the 840 myself. To get all that power to the ground, you gotta have excellent tires. Right here, this is my gummies right here that we use. Who's your action? We do that. These big wings, that's what everybody asks about. What are the big things on top? Well, they're actually inverted airfoils. If you take an airplane wing and look at the cross section of it, flip it upside down, we want downforce, they want lift. This thing gives us all the downforce we need. We have adjustable shocks. I can adjust in the cockpit. We have basically one gear. It's either in gear or out of gear. We do that with a solid axle rear end. Because it's a solid axle rear end, we have to run stagger, what we call stagger. It's a difference of circumference of the right rear to left rear. Think of this, if you take a little plastic cup, the big end on one end, small end on the other, just roll it, it'll go in a circle by itself. You don't ever want to have to turn the steering wheel. Watch Danny Lasowski, he's the best at it here. He's got his arms locked, going right around because the car is turning, it's stuck to the ground with this big airfoil. That's pretty much a basic overview of the sprint car, and I hope that, I don't know, it's informative.
That it was, Greg. Still the wildest car you've ever driven, Tony?
Yeah, that's why I'm still running a 360 wing car instead of a 410. It's probably the hardest car I've had to learn to drive because my background is in non-wing sprint cars and midgets and Silver Crown cars where without that top wing on it, when you go in the corner, you have to actually pitch the car sideways to break the momentum of the car and to actually help it change direction because you don't have that wing.
Tony Bakoven can add to the work that's going on with Tim Kading's car.
Well, Ralph, they're trying to put a new front axle inside the frame rails. Dennis Moore Jr. and his crew down here working on the car. They've got an axle ready to go on. I don't know if they're going to have quite enough time. Doug Clark showing the field, ready to go.
See some of the folks from Danny Lasowski's crew helping out as well. Well, looks like he's going to fall short because the field is making their way out of turn 2. 22 laps still to go.
But they don't want to stop working because if they go back green and have another caution or a red right away, they can get that car back out. You never want to give up, so these guys got to keep working on that race car.
And it's really only 4 sets of radius rods, and most of those guys will be keyed up. They'll have all the radius rods mounted to the axle where all they got to do is mount the other half of it to the chassis, so it really doesn't take that long, and if they do get a yellow or a red, they can have that car done in another 2 minutes.
Jason Sides shows us what it looks like at the start. Here we go, going green. Oh, and he's got to back out of the throttle because we got another red, and guess what? Tim Kading just bought a few more minutes.
There you go. If they can get that car back, which they should, they'll be able to
coming out.
Yep, they'll be able to get back out. Though here's Kading again. They didn't stop working. Now this is a red flag situation. Going to take a little bit to clean this car up. Not a lot of damage, not a lot of parts on the racetrack, so it won't take too long. But they can get that axle.
But it's going to take longer because of that fuel.
They'll have to put some oil dry down, and they need to get that car back up on its wheels, stop that fuel from gushing out, unless it tore the fuel line off or something. But if it's coming out of the cap, by just flipping it back up on its wheels, it'll stop that fuel leak.
Let's check in Tony Bakovens with Tim Kading.
Well, Tim, the red came back out. This is the break you needed.
Yeah, you know, we didn't have a good break last Thursday. You know, this ABC Ready Mix, we got a lot of guys here helping us right now. I thought it was a lot worse than it was, and it wasn't. And we're just thankful for the red. There's somebody out there letting us go racing again, you know. So hopefully we can get this 7 car back up to the front of this B main and have some fun.
Well, they're putting on new radius rods and a drag link right now. Just like Tony Stewart said, they had everything ready, and they're just getting it bolted back on.
Eric Vanderplug out of Altoona, Iowa, the young man who's going to be a high school senior when classes get back underway, is the reason for the red.
Just looks like he spun.
Yeah, it just might have been by him did that 360. And what happens all the time with that stagger Greg Hodnett talked about, when the car turns around the left side, that left rear, with only, 4 or 5 pounds right there, trips over that left rear. Just an easy tip over.
And we'll look at it from real speed now.
He got on the gas, tried to keep it going, but again, when it spun around back to that left side, just laid over and barely bent the wing.
So Eric Vanderplug is righted and gets pushed back to the pits. And we talk in now with Dave Argerbright with arguably one of the biggest stories here this weekend, Dave.
You know, Ralph, every year at the Knoxville Nationals, a rookie comes in here, has a great performance, and gets everybody excited and just a buzz. And this year, that story has been Aaron Crocker, 22-year-old racer from New York, Massachusetts area. You know, you come in here your first race and you make the A main. Did you think it was going to be this easy?
No, I had no idea. Didn't know I was even coming to this race till about 2 weeks ago, and I can't even believe what happened.
You know, I got to tell you, she is absolutely nervous here. But what do you do, Aaron, to deal with all this nervousness before this race? I know it's one of the biggest races you've ever been in. How do you deal with that emotionally?
I guess I try to think about the race and actually making laps around here. I've raced here quite a few times now in 360, and I'm just trying to think about those laps that I've made comfortably and pass some cars and try to treat as much as I can as any other race.
You know, everybody wants to win every race they're in, obviously, but realistically, as a rookie in the feature event tonight, what's a realistic goal for you?
Well, the way the track is going and things are happening this evening, I'd like to make it to the checkered on all four, of course. Top 10 would be great, and a top 5 would be just outstanding.
You're used to running the 360-inch sprinters with a little bit smaller motors than these 410s. Tell me about the difference making that adjustment.
It wasn't too bad of an adjustment. I ran here with the 360 first and then got into the 410. It's definitely a lot quicker. Things happen a lot faster. Starts and coming out of the turns, you can feel more acceleration. But as far as the car goes, it's basically the same feel.
She's had a great weekend, and we wish you well, Aaron Crocker, in this feature. Back upstairs, guys.
What a great story Aaron Crocker has been at this year's Nationals. And look at there. Tim Kading's car is all put together. He's ready to go racing in the B feature. We'll have it for you when we come back to Knoxville.
Hey, where are the things? Tickets. Where are the tickets?
In your shirt pocket.
Cab will be here in a minute. See if the flight's on time.
I'm on it.
Is everything here?
Yeah, everything.
My blue swimsuit?
Mm-hmm.
Sunscreen?
15 and 30.
Beach towels.
Beach towels, snorkels, flip-flops. Camcorder.
Get a new one fast. With Circuit City's Express Pickup, you can order online and pick up in minutes. Circuit City, we're with you.
I'll just keep this up front.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
Saving your tax dollars with asphalt recycling systems. Wertgen, Vogela, Hahn. Wertgen Group.
Your weeknights just got a whole lot faster. NASCAR TV, the world of NASCAR, weeknight 6 to 8 and all night Friday. Autofocus, different shows each night where the cars are the stars. Wind Tunnel, Dave, motorsports newsmakers, and you. Racing, adrenaline junkies, strap in. Check out the new lineup. Whatever you're into, it's all about speed.
Knoxville Raceway is also the home of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, located just outside of turn number 2. Well, Doty's already in there. How long till you get in there, Stewart?
I don't know if I want enough races to be in there, but I tell you, it's been a neat week. We went over there, and Lasowski and I went over and spent a couple hours over looking at the old race cars, and it's a really, really neat place to spend some time if you get in the Knoxville area, and you can come by and just check out the history of sprint car racing.
On the front chute.
I got a funny feeling 3 USAC titles in 1 year. You'd probably stand a decent shot at it. We'll see what we can do. We think, isn't Argerbright one of the voting members? We might be able to have an inside track.
We have some influence, I guess, right?
Well, a lot of pretty cars over there, and this one's pretty torn up. This is Josh Higday's machine, and you can see what that impact into the dirt did to the front end.
Yeah, that's the frame rails. Used to be about a foot further forward than that. Boy just absorbed all that energy, though, when he landed on the nose, flipping down the front straightaway end over end.
And that's the good part of that, Tom.
Yeah, I've never seen one that actually has ended up like that. Normally it just rips it off the front, but like you said, it did absorb a lot of that impact.
Looks like they're going to have to take a torch just to cut the frame off to get the front axle out of there.
Chad Kavanaugh, Craig Kinzer up on the front. That is the B feature lineup. Cram and DeWeese make up row 2. Landis and Moyle, Shepard. As we get ready to go. Doug Clark telling them 1 to go now. We still haven't completed a full lap here in the B feature. 4 cars, Brad, will transfer on to the A. Last shot in to tonight's Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah, boy, again, these poor guys in the back, they're going to need a lot of things to go their way. And, you know, as late as it's getting, but they're going to have to need some cautions again just to keep the field bunch back up. And then they got to make something happen in the first turn.
There's a good look in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Those suites overlooking turn 2. A beautiful view of the racetrack here in Knoxville.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame. Yeah, the Hall of Fame actually on the first floor, as you said, and all those nice suites up there. Beautiful view for the fans back there and people.
All right, cinch the belts down tight. Here we go. 22 laps for the B feature. Jason Sides giving you the ride. Jack Hodgshield was just in front of him. Craig Kinzer out in front. Kavanaugh drops down to the bottom as Kinzer rides the cushion. Cram runs in third. Look at Kevin on the bottom. How's that bottom groove working out, Brad? We talked about it being slick and then getting tacky.
Yeah, it's just going to get tackier and tackier to the point it wears out. But right now it looks real good. Travis Cram there, a little bit of smoke.
Does that look like just tire rub, Tony?
Well, it's not a tire rub like you'd see in NASCAR where a fender rubs against it, but it's probably engine oil. It's probably the small amount that it's puffing right there. It's probably nothing to get too concerned about right now.
When he's fast, he's got to run on Kavanaugh there.
Travis Cram out of Snohomish, Washington, takes over second place.
And has 2 wins here on a weekly basis here. Travis does know his way around this racetrack.
Lance DeWeese is running in 4th, but he's going to take 3rd away from Kavanaugh. The red 77, the Al Hamilton-owned machine. Well, that's going to be a good battle as they come off a 2 and down the back straightaway.
Boy, again, you can see a little bit of the shine on the racetrack. The lights glaring off of it, starting to slick off a little bit.
DeWeese spent too much time in the middle of the racetrack there, didn't he, in 3 and 4?
Exactly. You spin those tires, and it doesn't look like much from here, but it's all distance and it's all momentum. These wing cars, because of the downforce and with the pitch of the angle of the wing, they actually don't carry as much straightaway speed as a non-wing car, but they have so much corner speed that if you slip those tires just a little bit, that momentum of a guy that does have his car pulling will go ahead and drive away from you.
Well, in any kind of race car, as you know, if you slip the tires too much, you overheat them, they start losing traction, then you're in real trouble.
There's Jason Sides sliding up into the cushion. He had to because he had the car running. Whoa, look at that. One coming right across the front.
Again, I've mentioned it before, Ralph, these drivers cannot see the front tires, you know, and that was close. I mean, the car that came up on him just about clipped his left front.
That was Tyler Walker that slid right past. And a good look at him now, Tony, as he rides that cushion.
And it's a lot more work than what I'd like to see in the car. He's reaching down with his left hand to try to get a hold of the wing to make a wing adjustment.
Yeah, you can see the valve on the left of the steering wheel there. That's hydraulic. Move the wing back.
Actually, I think he reached down for its shock up there.
Oh yeah, right there's the valve, Tony, up on the steering wheel.
Just to the right side of the body panel that you see clear on the right side of the screen. That's the black handle. That's actually the wing adjuster. What was below that was probably a shock adjuster, so he made a shock change.
And we have a yellow, and that big wing slides forward and back, and you change that angle of the wing when you do that, and that changes how the car performs.
And not only does it go forward and back, but as you roll that wing back, the brace that holds the back of the wing will actually increase the pitch of it also, so it'll change the degree of the wing, plus move the center of pressure back.
And some of the guys are actually running the cylinder on the back to raise it up too. They got 2 valves in the car so they can raise it and lower it from the back and move it back and forth.
Victory Circuit's been a busy place. One guy's been here before, and he's with Dave Arterburn.
Well, Ralph, Mark Kinzer's a 3-time winner of the Knoxville Nationals, but tonight his concentration is tested a little bit. Earlier today, his father, Carl Kinzer, had emergency appendectomy surgery. Mark, how is your father doing?
He's doing as well as to be expected. You know, it's quite the blow, really. We've had a tough year, quite the emotional roller coaster. You know, It's my father. I love him. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So I miss him at the racetrack, and God bless him, and he'll be all right.
This is a very emotional night anyway, just running the Knoxville Nationals. How do you now turn your concentration? You know he's going to be okay. How do you turn your concentration to that race car?
Well, you know, it was really tough at the first of the day. We couldn't pinpoint what was wrong with him, and you know, I didn't know if I'd even drive at all, maybe take a lap and pull in, but you know, I've got my senses back together. When I talk about it, I get a little bit emotional, but I think we'll be okay. We turned some pretty good laps and hot laps, and you know, track looks nice, and we're ready to go racing.
Well, it'd be a pretty good get-well present for him to wind up here in victory lane.
You know what? It would be probably the best present I could give him and the entire team. You know, our chances don't look real good. We got some real tough guys starting in front of us. It's been up on their game all year. You know, I got to thank Sab Cole. It's been with me, Sean Art. You know, these guys support me here at the Lady of the Year, and Sideways come on just for this race. And you know, my crew's pumped up. You know, God bless my father.
Well, Carl Kinzer, if you're listening, we're all thinking about you, buddy. We miss you, and we want you back here at the Knoxville Nationals. Ralph?
That we do. Craig Kinzer leads this one right now with Travis Cram running in second, Chad Kemna third, Lance DeWeese fourth. Those four drivers all sit with a transfer spot. Calvin Landis one spot out of it with 14 laps to go.
Yeah, with 14 to go, anything can happen, and we saw Hodgshield is coming back, you know, got in those crashes early. He's coming through the pack, but again, there's Steve Kinzer and his son Kurt. Look at that. Look at the intensity in his face. He's studying everything. A lot of thought going on right there.
Which one, Kurt or Steve? They both look intense to me.
I can tell you what, though, it doesn't matter what short track you go across the country, no matter whether it's Bloomington Speedway or Terre Haute or the Knoxville Nationals, that's the same look you'll see every night.
Boy, that scowl. He's got that scowl. He's all business, isn't he?
Tony, you raced with the famed black number 3, and we were talking about when you see Steve Kinzer's green car come nosing by. You raced with Earnhardt. You know what intimidation was like. Can you put that into perspective what those guys see when they see Kinzer come rolling by?
I think you hit it right on the head there. It's the exact same thing. I mean, it's Steve Kinzer is the Dale Earnhardt of sprint car racing. And when you see Steve coming, not only because of what he does behind a race car, but because how big he is. So, you know, if you crash him, you're going to have a heck of a fight on your hands. You know, he's just a very intimidating and very, very, you know, he's been around this sport for so long and won so many races. He's very, very well respected.
Well, let's see what kind of attitude your driver has. He's standing by with Tony Bachhoven.
Well, Danny, what are you looking at out there? You're taking an eye on the speedway.
Yeah, we're just checking over all the lap times, and we really needed to slow down a little more to let the bottom come in, so maybe we'll have a good shot. These guys are really good on the top right now, and we just hope we keep this JD Byrider car up front.
Sorry about that. Any big changes coming for the car?
Yeah, right now we're just deciding what we're going to put on for stagger and go from there. We're just going to keep a close eye on this B feature right now.
There's some guy sitting upstairs. He wants to say something to you. Let me get my headset off for you.
I think this is your turn to talk to your driver here, Smoke.
This ought to be good.
Hey, that's what we're hoping for.
Hey, boss.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, we're going to give you 110. Hope we can get this deal done for you.
Well, if it looked as good or felt as good as it looked in hot laps, it looked like the bottom was good. Did you try the top?
Yeah, I tried it, and it felt just as good, and I think you could probably drive it here.
Well, I don't know about that. But
well, after I watched you all day today, I think there's no doubt you could drive her.
Well, hopefully you'll have as good a night as we had, except no shot of rain here. So just go out there and get your elbows up for me, buddy.
You got her, pal.
All right, man. Good luck.
Thanks.
You know, Tony, I talked to Jimmy Carr, your crew chief for Danny Lasowski last night, and Danny struggled here last night in the A race, and he said he didn't think he was going to have to do anything in the car because Danny was going to be so far up on the seat he'd probably bend the steering wheel over trying to get it to the front. How much is that worth when you have a driver that sits that far up on the wheel and really gets his elbows up?
Well, he sits close enough to the steering wheel that I think he could lean his head forward and actually chew on the wheel, and I think he does it some nights, but we're going to have to send him to some of my anger management classes, I think. He gets so frustrated. They called me and said he got so mad last night that he went straight to the bus and never came out. And that's the way I was last year. So I kind of know that deal. But, you know, Danny's one of those guys that when he gets frustrated like that, he comes back the next night with more determination than the night before. And he always gives you 110% like you mentioned. But there just seems to be something about the night following a bad day. And that's the way it used to work for me, too. So I think you'll have a pretty good night tonight.
On the softer side of Tony. Getting ready for the green. Craig Kinzer leads up to Doug Clark's waving flag. 22-lap race as we get back at it. There's Shepard trying to make his way into the mix. That's that neon orange car on the bottom. Landis in the 70.
Yeah, we saw Jack
Shield coming through in the white number 4.
Yeah, saw him a lap before coming out of turn 4 on the bottom, passing the car. He's got a long way to go. He's up to 7th, so he's got to stand on the gas and try to hit his mark every lap.
Shepard in that neon number 92 is one spot out of a transfer. He's trying to catch that red 77 of Lance DeWeese, which would get him on into the A main. And Cram still has that problem, Tony.
I don't think it's going to get too much worse. It could be just an overflow of a catch can for the oil a little bit. If it dumps out on a header, it'll smoke. It doesn't seem to be much of a problem right now.
Past the halfway point, we're talking about the smoke coming out of that yellow and black number 2, the driver out of the Washington State area. There's Chad Kavanaugh on the bottom, running in second.
And you notice, Travis, the smoke's pretty much always just in the corner, so it could be an oil splash up, coming out of the breather or something, but it looks like it's always just in the corner.
Tony, one of the keys to passing a guy in sprint car racing is going where he is not. So if you've got Kavanaugh running on the bottom, that really forces Cram to run upstairs.
And it depends on what you set your car up for. It could be two totally different setups to run with the right rear on the cushion or have the left rear down in the mud. So some of those guys during their hot lap session, they had to make a decision where they really wanted to be. Now, it doesn't mean they can't run both, but it means their car's probably a little better suited for one side or the other, either the top or the bottom of the racetrack.
And part of that is if you run the bottom, generally you want more stagger, a smaller left rear tire because the radius of the corner is shorter. Running the top, you want a bigger left rear tire.
Boy, Kavanaugh just about turned her to a dead stop there in turn 2, and that allowed Cram to take over second on the high side, but here comes Kavanaugh charging back from the bottom.
And that's what makes running the bottom so tough, because you don't have a margin for error. If you slip and miss it by a foot and you get that right rear outside the mud, you lose the bottom like he did there, and he lost so much speed. But if you hit it, it's a shorter distance around, and normally there's enough grip that you can get by and pull away coming off the corners.
Oh, and Jack Hodshield has a problem. In the Race to Hawaii.com entry, the Wild Child slowing down and coming off the racetrack.
You can see some smoke coming out. Looks like the right side header possibly, so maybe a blown engine.
He's a big fan favorite here. I mean, when he came out for his hot lap session, they announced his name. I mean, the crowd went crazy. It's great to see him with his new ride, and glad to see he's going good again. Tough night tonight.
That would be the last car to make it into the A main right now. Owing the top 4 transfer, Lance DeWeese holds the final ticket to tonight's Knoxville Nationals A main right now. These 3 cars would be in: Craig Kinzer, Chad Kavanaugh, and Travis Cram, 1, 2, and 3. But boy, that battle is brewing as we see now Kavanaugh and Cram catching Craig Kinzer.
Yeah, Craig Kinzer was out and going a little bit. Boy, it looks like he's slowing down, and Kavanaugh and Cram are catching him.
Tyler Walker, who finished 3rd in the Silver Crown race today in Springfield, his night is over. He just pulled in the infield.
It actually looked like Craig's motor's smoking a little bit too, so don't know exactly where it's smoking at, but
maybe that's what's slowing him down as Kavanaugh and Cram continue to chase him down. Oh, we've got a red flag, a car upside down over in turn number 3, the 75J of Jesse Hockett out of Warsaw, Missouri.
you don't want to sit like that in a race car.
There's Doug Clark with the red flag. There's Jesse. He's out of the car, walking around. He's okay.
By the looks of that right rear tire shredded, like I think the tire blew going in the corner, and that's what caused him to get upside down.
Well, we'll take a quick break, take care of some more business, and come back with the finish of the B main from Knoxville.
To a driver, fear isn't going full wide into a turn.
Fear isn't driving into a cloud of smoke at 200 miles per hour. Fear is not getting sideways an inch from the wall. That's because Ford dominated
last year's Cup Series
with 7 Fords finishing in the top 10.
Top 10, 7 Fords. So fear in the racing world is looking in the rearview mirror and seeing one of us.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Castle Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
I've
all the rotten luck, damned to spend eternity pushing a boulder up a hill. Oh, it's enough to send a bloke mad. What? Hello? Oh, now I'm hearing voices.
Sisyphus, you've hit rock bottom. What you need is Red Bull, stimulation for body and mind. So, Sisyphus, feeling a little bowled up?
You bet. Suddenly eternity isn't long enough. Way. Red Bull gives you wings.
Oh, Sisyphus.
Speed just made your weeknights a whole lot faster. Adrenaline junkies, listen up. Monday through Thursday at 10 Eastern. Strap in. You're going racing. Whatever you're into, it's all about speed.
Here's a look at the top 10 after 19 of 22 laps. The B feature here at the Knoxville Nationals. Craig Kinzer, Chad Kemena, Travis Cram, and Lance DeWeese all hold the keys to transfer onto the A. Jeff Shepard one spot out. Jamie Moyle, Jeremy Campbell, Jason Sides, Calvin Laminis, and Jeff Matrison all excited to see this red flag situation. It gives them a chance to maybe move up a little bit more. It's the 43rd Knoxville Nationals, but it's the 50th season of racing here at the Knoxville Raceway as we take a look back at the history of racing here at the Marion County Fairgrounds. Marion Robinson was the man who convinced the Fair Board to go racing on a weekly basis here in June of 1954. The Southern Iowa Stock Car Racing Association of Oskaloosa was the original sanctioning body. Kenny Crook won the first title in a stock car, then they moved to modifieds and eventually super modifieds. Timing and scoring was a little different back then. Super modifieds would blast down the front straightaway, and Roy Robbins would win the first ever Knoxville Nationals in 1961. Highway 14 runs parallel to turns 1 and 2. Not too busy this day, packed eventually with sprint car fans. Camping was popular then, still the most popular way to attend the Nationals. Jay Woodside grabbed the big trophy back in 1966, but eventually prize money would be a big part of the Nationals as well, and Ron Schumann picked up $5 grand in 1979. They didn't always run wings here. Those would become permanent in 1982. Former school teacher Ralph Cappy Capitani took over the reins in 1967, turned this old fairgrounds racetrack into the Midwest Mecca of mud, Knoxville.
Well, one of the great things about the history of this place is the local drivers that have been here through the years. One of them sits with me, one of the best ever here at Knoxville Raceway, Terry McCarl. You've been 5th here at the Nationals, but not the winner. What would it mean for an Iowa racer to clinch this thing?
Well, I don't know if I can answer that question until we do it, but it'd be a biggest thrill of my life. I've been dreaming about this since I was a little boy. I went to night when I was a little boy. I prayed every night that my dad would win this race, and that's just what it's like to be a kid growing up, being a race car driver's son. And this is the biggest race in sprint car racing. Indianapolis Motor Speedway of sprint cars is Knoxville Raceway.
We'd see a wild celebration. Would we see the big guy cry?
Might have a headache for about 3 days after this deal, but it's a dream come true for anybody out here. That's why you see all these fans. That's why you see all these drivers.
You start well back in the field at 15th. Can you win it from there?
Yeah, if we get our car right, the track's starting to move around, and I got enough experience here that I think we got a shot at it. But it's mainly up to getting the car right. If we get it right, we can go to the front. If not, we're going to just do our best.
Well, if it comes down to experience, this guy's going to be hard to beat. Tony Bachhoven?
Well, Jesse Hockett, tell us what happened going into the turn.
Just going into the turn, the tire just started to explode, and I didn't have nothing to do. Just hold on.
What goes through your mind when you're up in the air like that?
Just hold on, I guess. I didn't think I was going to get upside down, but we had a pretty good run going on. We were starting to move up through the field. My car owners put a brand new motor in the car tonight, and we were starting to move forward. I was just bad luck.
You're okay, though?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Let's go back upstairs.
Well, they pushed the cars off, and it'll take them a lap or two to get themselves lined up and ready to go racing. So we'll take care of some more business. Jason Sides and Jeremy Campbell just in front of them get their cars ready to go back to battle. Stay with us. We're coming back with more from Knoxville.
Have you ever driven stick before?
No.
Okay. Let the clutch out real slow and give it a little gas. Good. All right, the next intersection, hang a left. Turn left up here. Okay, no left. Left at the next block.
Team owner Michael Andretti and 6 Honda drivers are competing in the Indy Racing League.
Left right here. Go left on Elm. Hang a left.
Do you think I can make a right?
Why would you want to do that?
It's going to take some getting used to.
We build over 700 engines a year with a staff of 70 people. The biggest problem we face is friction. It robs us of power.
We're looking for 2 things: getting the most available power
and keeping the engine alive.
One of the simplest ways to reduce friction in the engine is to use new Quaker State, now engineered to deliver a 10% lower coefficient of friction.
In the last 7 years, we've been fortunate enough to win 8 championships, and Quaker State helped us get there.
The power to reduce friction.
For the past 20 years, Hooters has been there. Which is why, as we celebrate our 20th anniversary, we can now say what the skeptics have been saying all along. We're history. Hooters, still winging it after all these years. Come celebrate Hooters' 20th anniversary with 20% off food and merchandise the 20th of every month.
We're back to Knoxville. They're going to get the green next time around, says flagman Doug Clark.
Good shot of the orange cone there. We've talked about it in the past, but the guys have to be single file as they come by that cone. You see the guy dragging it back off. Boy, it stopped a lot of cheating and a lot of jumping on the restarts. Boy, a guy could gain a bunch of ground on a restart before that cone rule came into effect.
It's funny, you see the guy pulling it back a little bit after they've gone by it, so it gives them a little bit room, a little bit more room for error there. But they put it pretty tight out there to make sure that those guys know that they can't get an advantage that way.
Settling down, getting ready to come to the green. Kinzer on the front. Coming up on the bottom is Jeff Shepard in that neon orange 92, and he switches to the outside to get around Cram, and that would give him a transfer spot.
Cram off the pace.
Oh, can he go? No! We're red again.
Cram trying to get off the racetrack, trying to maybe keep the green flag out, trying to turn into the pit, and nowhere for that guy to go. Boy, he's upset.
That's the 4K. Lighton Jeffrey. Not happy about it at all. Very frustrated, of course.
Yeah, Linton Jeffrey, one of our Australian drivers, a long way from home to have such bad luck.
And it just shows how intense the Knoxville Nationals are. I mean, these guys prepare all year. This is the biggest sprint car race in the country, and to have something like that happen to you that puts you out, that's very disappointing.
It's just hard to put into words. I mean, the emotions, you know, it's just devastating.
Travis Cram, obviously as frustrated too, even though he didn't get flipped down the front straightaway, but to see his chance at going into the A main go right out the window, frustration of a different kind.
Yeah, he had broke, like I said, trying to get off the racetrack, and we get to see it here. There he is, off power.
The hard thing, he's stuck in the middle right there. He doesn't really know where to go right now.
Do you think he could have run out of gas?
Well, he might have.
Possibility.
Very could have. A lot of laps so far in this race, but he saw the pit entrance there. He tried to watch it. Just turns left right there, going to go into the pits.
Well, and there's no mirrors in these cars too.
Exactly. And the best thing to do probably would have been to stay in the middle, but you know, with the way the night's been, the D-main, there were a lot of cars that ran out of fuel in the D-main because of cautions and red flags. So he was probably trying to do the right thing by getting off the track, but it was just being in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
No mirrors, no spotters. He didn't know, and like I said, hindsight, he wishes, and so does Linton Jeffries, that he would have stayed in the middle of the racetrack and brought the yellow out.
The fuel tank located at the back of the car, but Brad, you don't always fill it to the brim.
No, they try. It's weight. It's about 6 or 7 pounds a gallon. And these guys, even with the weight rule, you don't want all that weight hanging back there. It changes the setup of the chassis, and the more fuel you put in the car, the lower the back is. You got to adjust all. So they try to keep the minimum amount of fuel and guess on how much they need, and sometimes they guess wrong.
Tony Bach-Ovens with Linton Jeffrey.
Well, first of all, Linton, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, it's just really disappointing. This Knoxville Nationals. I made a run. I passed about 3 cars. That restart was looking good. Everything was great. I made a really good run. He's just driving in the pits. I guess he's trying to get out the race or something. You know, I just don't understand. It's not my fault. You know, my race car's a junk. It's just, I'm not complaining. Guess what? We've had our best Knoxville Nationals, and since I've been coming here, I mean, I'm really proud to be in the B main. First year I was in the D, next year C. This year the B. That's what I was aiming for, and I was having a good run. You know, racetrack was coming to us. We're just being patient. That kind of thing is just ridiculous, and it's just one of those things that happen in racing that, you know, it's sad to get your race car junked when a guy's not even racing. He's pulling to the pits, for Christ's sake. I mean, that's hard.
We're glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Tony, anybody who's ever raced has lived through a nightmare similar to what Linton just went through. And we use that term a lot. It's just racing. But if you haven't done it, it's hard to put it into perspective as to what that's really all about.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's just a lot of emotion that's involved, and especially for a guy that lives halfway around the world from Knoxville Speedway to come across here, over here. And like he said, the first year he made the D. The next year he made the C. He was in the B, was making ground toward the A. I mean, just to make the show at the Knoxville Nationals is a huge accomplishment here. So, you know, it's tough when you know that you've got a car that's coming around to the track conditions and you're making progress there, and with 3 laps to go, you're so hyped up to make the show that when something happens like that, it's you know, it's very disappointing for you. So it's just hard to take.
Linton will have a long time to think about it too. He'll replay it in his mind time and time again. But he'll be back in Knoxville. You can be sure of that.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
Well, Mark, this kind of work ain't exactly your expertise. Why do you want in on this?
Listen, it's rare in life that you get paid to do what you love.
Yeah, but pizza delivery?
Two more like him and we're going global.
Hey, where are the things? Tickets. Where are the tickets?
In your shirt pocket.
Cab will be here in a minute. See if the flight's on time.
I'm on it.
Is everything here?
Yeah, everything.
My blue swimsuit?
Mm-hmm.
From the latest races to industry news from around the world, it's all right here on Speed News. Next, only on Speed.
You guys ready for the movie?
Yeah.
Want some popcorn?
Yes.
Everybody upstairs.
What's happening, Mom?
No, keep going. Upstairs, all the way up. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hello?
This is Mike with Brinks Home Security. Is everything okay?
No, somebody just tried to break in.
I'll notify the police.
Thank you. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Just stay close.
Brinks Home Security protected this family, and they can help protect yours too. The Brinks award-winning monitoring center provides a quick link to emergency authorities 24 hours a day. Call Brinks Home Security now and get a 10-point home security analysis free. You can also get the Brinks standard system installed for just $99. That includes the Brinks security keypad. As a special offer, we'll install a second keypad absolutely free. That's a $125 value. You also get the security of the Brinks name. You're never really home alone when you have Brinks Home Security. Brinks Home Security, dedicated to fast response and peace of mind 24 hours a day. Call now.
If you want to talk motorsports, the place to do it is on Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. live on Speed Channel. Call Dave and talk about anything at 1-866-W-TUNNEL. Let's head down to Victory Lane and check in with Dave Argabright.
Well, Ralph, ever since last night's A scramble, I don't think they've been able to wipe the smile off of Shane Stewart's face. You've had your best nationals to date. You start 6th. Can you win it tonight?
I was telling my crew and my car owner, if we had the right brakes, I guarantee we can win this race. You know, this whole week is a little bit of, actually a lot of luck and sometimes a little bit of skill. But man, the Mid Motorsports Down and Dirty Down Under Tour cars running really strong this week. So we're going to give her the best shot we can.
Describe your emotions right now.
Nervous as heck. I tell you what, we went out in the hot lap session there, and I was a little tight. And I'm not worried about my crew getting my car ready for me. I'm just worried about you know, having 30 good laps, and you got to be on top of your game, and you can't make any mistakes.
Did you sleep well last night, knowing that you're in solidly, starting 6th?
Slept like a baby.
Woke up every 2 hours and cried?
I did.
Tony Bacco.
Well, Travis Cram's car was out of fuel. They came in, plus when he got with Linton Jeffrey, too much front end damage according to the crew chief, Jeff Woodruff. They didn't think they'd be able to get it fixed, so they brought the car back to the pit area. Let's go back up to the booth.
Brad, did you sleep well before the Nationals?
I don't sleep that well anyway, but no, I didn't. It was just all the nerves. I mean, it's the Knoxville Nationals. I mean, all these things running through your mind. Did you check this? Did you check that? And I think a lot of guys would be that way.
Jason Sides checking his belts, his neck roll, making sure everything's ready to go.
He's checking to make sure his ponytail's straight inside that helmet, too.
Here we go. Top four, Craig Kinzer, Kemna, DeWeese, and Shepard. Jason Sides on board. Ooh,
Yep,
he blew a tire, trying to stay off the wall.
Does keep it off the wall. You could hear it flopping as he went in the corner there. Did a nice job. Yeah, he's actually going to pull in the pit area.
Yes.
Did a really nice job keeping it off the wall. Now, I don't know why we're seeing these blown tires if they're cutting them, because I don't think they're wearing them off. The tread was still there on some of the tires we've seen come apart. Maybe they're just cutting them on rocks or something, but they've got Hoosier tires.
There are three different tire manufacturers competing in wing sprint car racing these days.
Yeah, American Racer, Hoosier, and Goodyear.
Hoosier has the most teams. Goodyear has the most victories at this racetrack, but Hoosier's won the last 2 years in a row.
And you can see there's still tread left. What happens sometimes with the heat, the tire will actually blister. Just like if you burn yourself, you actually blister, and it'll let the air out of the tire. And then as it starts to go flat, you build more heat, and finally explodes itself like that.
But you really don't see a lot of little of the deep holes in the center of the tread there. So most likely something like that's come from a cut. Like you said, a stone inside the track, and with the downforce that these cars have, it really puts a lot of pressure on the tire, just like you see IndyCar cuts.
And it tore the Jacobs ladder off right there. You can see the Watts links hanging down.
But, you know, we've also had a lot of flips and crashes here tonight, so there's got to be lots of little shards of metal laying all around this racetrack that the pickup crews just didn't get when they were cleaning up all the debris. So maybe one of those cut the tire down. Tony?
Well, in addition to the tire and the Jacobs ladder, the rear radius rod is also broke on the car, so Darren Pittman's bringing some parts over. They're trying to get everything put back together. Hopefully they can get it fixed.
Let's take another look at it. Wow.
You heard Shane Stewart talk about a lot of luck in racing. Right there, I don't know who that car was that went around the outside, but he was lucky not to climb Jason's right front wheel. Jason was lucky or very skillful to keep that thing out of the wall.
Well, we are live at the 43rd annual Knoxville Nationals here at the Marion County Fairgrounds in Knoxville, Iowa. Ralph Sheheen, Brad Doty, and Tony Stewart with you in the booth. Working down on pit road tonight, Dave Argerbright in Victory Lane and Tony Bachkoven covering the pit area for us as we are here at the granddaddy of all sprint car races. $125,000 up for grabs. But the most important thing, Brad Doty, is that big trophy that says you won at Knoxville.
Well, and we saw in our thing there before about Schumann winning this thing in '79. I believe it was $75,000. It's $120,000 more tonight. So a lot of money on the line. But as you said, the trophy, just getting your name on that trophy and the list of winners of this place, man, you just can't pay for that. Looks like they got the radius rod back on now. Look, I don't know, maybe they're telling, oh, they're getting ready to go green, and they're not going to let him back out, and he's arguing with the officials.
It's hard to push a guy after they've given him the one to go, especially with the fuel issues. Normally when they give the one to go like that, they won't go ahead and push a car.
Top four transfer. Kinzer, Kemna, DeWeese, and Shepard hold those spots right now. Moyle sits in fifth. Good battle for the lead down in turns 3 and 4. Kemna on the bottom, Kinzer up top. Craig Kinzer comes down to cut him off going into turn 1. Then he has to charge back up the hill to get the cushion, and Kemna's going to get the advantage coming off the bottom, Brad.
Yeah, Craig's just going to have to try not to make any mistakes, keep his momentum going. I got a little bit too much of the cushion there. You can see the car push. You just got to nip at it. See the white flag come out. At this point, I think he ought to be just trying to settle down and make sure he doesn't take any major chances here and put himself out of the A main.
Coming down to block Kemena really pretty much cost him all the time he had built up. Here we come to the checkered flag. Chad Kemena is going to get the win in the B. Kinzer gets second. DeWeese gets third. Jeff Shepard goes to the A main with the final transfer spot here tonight in the number 92. Campbell will come up one spot short in the 10C. Jeremy Campbell out of Monroe, Michigan, just missing the A feature. That's what is next. The run to the checkered flag and the Knoxville Nationals coming up on Speed.
To a driver, fear isn't going full wide into a turn.
Fear isn't driving into a cloud of smoke at 200 miles per hour. Fear is not getting sideways an inch from the wall. That's because Ford dominated
last year's Cup Series
with 7 Fords finishing in the top 10.
Top 10, 7 Fords. So fear in the racing world is looking in the rearview mirror and seeing one of us.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
Oh, Father, your arm is shaking. You'll hit me in my chest.
Ah, my son, God moves in mysterious ways.
Your arrows move in mysterious ways too, Father. Have a Red Bull.
Kill a bull? Are you mad?
Red Bull! Liquid stimulation for your body.
You mean it will steady my hand?
And your mind.
So what you're saying is the arrow isn't flying to the apple.
Don't shoot the apple when it's on your head. Shoot the apple and then put it on your head. Brilliant!
Red Bull gives you wings.
Whoa.
Saving your tax dollars with asphalt recycling systems. Wirtgen, Vogela, Hahn. Wirtgen Group.
Beautiful moon hanging over Knoxville Raceway tonight. Chad Kemena, Craig Kinzer, Lance DeWeese, and Jeff Shepard have bright lights shining on them as they get set to move into the A feature here tonight at the Knoxville Nationals. Jeremy Campbell came up one spot short of making the A main. There's a look at the rest, 6 through 10. Tim Kading worked his way through some of the races tonight. Came up a little bit short, and he'll finish 8th in the B feature. Casey Kane ran the Busch race today and 9th in the B feature at Knoxville. Well, Tony Stewart, 23rd tomorrow. Maybe a Knoxville Nationals win for you and your team tonight, but I know you got a big day as you start 23rd tomorrow. Thanks for coming by.
My pleasure. Always glad to see you guys, and I'd love to stick around for the A main, but I'm getting a little bit nervous here. Well, I know once that car hits the racetrack, I'm out of control, so I'm going to go down there and sit in a chair where I am in control.
Okay, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Enjoy the rest of the night. Good luck tomorrow in Michigan. That Home Depot machine rolls off 23rd. Let's check in now with Tony Bachhoven.
Well, Chad Kemena, you waited till the white flag lap to take the lead, but it's the last lap that counts.
Yeah, I learned that a couple of weeks ago here at Eldora. Let it race right up to the end, but just got to really thank the Underground Utilities, American Augers, Hyundai Construction, and Eagle. It was really, really good. I got to take my hat off to my crew. Kind of set up to go down there and hope I can pass some cars in the feature. You know, the first goal was to make the Knoxville Nationals, and by God, we made it. So that's my second time in it, and I just want to come from the back and try to get to the front.
You got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. What are you going to change on the car?
You know, a lot of that's up to my brother. You know, we'll probably maybe have to tighten up just a little bit to stay down around the bottom because it's getting real, real narrow down there. But I think the fans here are going to see a really great show, and everybody on the speed, you know, they're going to see a great race.
You're in the A main, man.
All right, buddy, here we go.
Well, you can see that really starting to build now. That pressure, that excitement. We've been talking about it all week long, all night long. And now, as you know, the only thing left on the card is the A main. Boy, it's right there in front of you.
Well, you saw the emotion lit in Jeffrey, and there's Chad Kemena now. It's actually a relief. He's in the A main. I mean, you can almost see the load lifted off his shoulders. They're in the A main. it's from here on down. It's on out. It's downhill, and you know, they just got to keep fighting and plugging away and scratching and digging for every spot they can get, and never give up. Just like the crews when they're changing the front axle or something, you never quit as a driver. It doesn't matter what position you're in. You focus on that car in front of you and try to pass him.
Obviously, we've talked a lot about Steve Kinzer. There he is, the king, waiting to put the helmet on and get pushed off. Dave Argabright took an in-depth look at the career of the king.
What makes sprint cars, to me, special is just the flat, brute horsepower of them. They're a high, road-centered race car, and they got to be wrestled around a little bit, and they got a lot of horsepower, and they're real light, and they're a lot of fun.
Driving sprint cars to victory can be a lot of fun too, and it's that winning feeling that keeps Steve at age 49 filled with desire to continue driving for several years to come.
I don't know how long I'm going to race. We're going to be with Quaker State another 2 years, I know for sure, after this year. And the main thing, as long as I can be competitive, I'll continue to do it. There's going to be a time where it's going to get a little tougher. I mean, it's a little tough to see the gauges now and things like that, but I can still, my vision's good enough from the distance. I have no problems with that. I still got good reflexes, think good, so everything's going pretty good that way. So I can race for another 4 or 5 years, or maybe even longer if I have to.
Knoxville is a track where experience really pays off, since you run early in the week and then don't get on the track for the feature until a couple of days later.
It's just a real tough format to be out there all week, and the hardest part about winning the Knoxville Nationals is getting yourself in a position to win it. It's a racetrack where it can throw you a lot of different situations, and it's a racetrack that is hard to drive in certain situations. It's got a character of its own, and if you haven't ran there some or quite a few times and figured out how to race the racetrack, you're not going to have a whole lot of success.
The character of Knoxville, the special atmosphere surrounding the event, is still captivating to Steve, even though he's won here 12 times and has been coming here since he was a little boy.
You know, we stay right at the racetrack. We walk across the streets. We eat tenderloins just like everybody else. You know, it's a great 4 or 5 days. It's nothing like it. I enjoy being part of it. Going down to the parade on Saturday morning, just everything. I enjoy the whole thing. It's a lot of fun, and I'll continue to do it long after I quit racing.
Well, it has been an incredible career for Steve Kinzer. His 27th Nationals appearance, 12 times he's won the big trophy, 17 times he's been the World of Outlaw champion, 489 career victories on the Outlaw Tour. When you look at these kinds of numbers, it's like any major, huge sports dynasty, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Yankees, the Green Bay Packers. That's the kind of career we're talking about, Steve.
Yeah, but what really strikes me there is 27 appearances, 12 A-mains. He's won almost half the Nationals that he's entered. That's incredible.
His son would like to win one, and he's standing by with Tony Bacco.
Well, Craig, you came just a lap short in the B main, but man, you are in the A feature.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. We had motor trouble sitting there practicing tonight, and I had to change motors right before the B. Didn't even have time to warm up the motor or check anything, timing on it and anything. Just put it in and went, and it was quick. The car felt great when we got out there. First red was open red, and it helped us out a lot. We didn't have time to set a car up or anything. But we got our brakes in that A main, and we had tons of them, or the B main. We had tons of them, and we just ran good, and the car feels good right now. Hopefully, we can make a charge in the A.
You got a ways to go, but how important and how cool would it be for you to win the A main?
Well, I don't even know what it'd be like. I can't even imagine what the feeling of it is just to win coming from the back. That'd just make it even special. But realistically, our shots are a little slim, but we're still going to go out there and give it our best.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Craig Kinzer getting ready. Quick drink of water to try to refresh yourself, keep your mind focused, and get right back in the car.
Well, you can see the sweat pouring off of him, and you have to wear a fire suit and underwear and things that, you know, got all that covering you up, and you're inside that race car working that hard. You lose a lot of weight and a lot of fluids.
Crowd cheering as they get ready for What will be the 43rd running of the Knoxville Nationals. There's this huge crowd as the names are being read off from the PA announcers here. Everybody cheering for their favorite, who they hope might win here tonight. There have been lots of various winners here. Roy Robbins back in 1961. Jay Woodside in the middle of the screen here in 1966. Ken Greitz right in the middle there in 1969 took the big honors. 1971, Jan Opperman. Kenny Weld won it a handful of times. He's to the left of the screen. His brother Greg won it in 63. Ron Schumann here in 1979. Steve Kinzer 12 times. This was in 1980, the first year. And in 1986 at victory number 3. And again, just last year, doing the wing dance at Victory Lane at Knoxville. Stay with us.
In 2002,
Ford won 14 Cup races. And at the end of the season, 7 of the top 10 cars were Fords.
In fact, Ford was the first to win 500 Cup races.
victories that brought Ford
15 manufacturers' championships. That makes Ford the team to watch. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
For the past 20 years, Hooters has been there. Which is why, as we celebrate our 20th anniversary, we can now say what the skeptics have been saying all along. We're history. Hooters, still winging it after all these years. Come celebrate Hooters' 20th anniversary with 20% off food and merchandise the 20th of every month.
Optima batteries with spiral cell AGM technology offer twice the life and more than 15 times the vibration resistance of ordinary batteries. In fact, the spill-proof six-pack design is tough enough to outlast practically everything, including your vehicle. Optima, the ultimate power source.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
You know, that $125,000 check that comes with winning this thing would be awful nice, but this is what you have for a lifetime, that trophy.
There's a lot of guys that would hand that check over just to get that trophy.
It's big. It's 5.5 feet tall.
It's sweet, I'll tell you. Have that thing set in your trophy room. That's something that nobody can ever take away from you. Get your name on that list of winners. Wow.
The most coveted trophy in all of sprint car racing. And that guy in number 11, the green car, he's got 12. Where do you put 12 of those things?
He's got a big trophy room.
Man, he's got enough of those big checks to pay for the big trophy room too, doesn't he? Aaron Crocker, 22 years old, strapped into a sprint car, ready to go racing in Knoxville. Wow, what an experience that's got to be for her. What do you think she's thinking, Brad?
Well, I'm not sure what she's thinking, but something I noticed there, the steering wheel, there looks like there's no padding or no tape. You look where her hands are, that's aluminum steering wheel. There's things welded underneath for your fingertips, but generally everybody has tape of some kind on there, for like a friction tape for a grip, and she must have a pretty strong grip to not need anything on there, but I bet she's nervous. I'll bet she's, but actually when you get in that race car and you fire it up and you're out there right now, you're a lot less nervous than you are sitting in that infield getting ready and waiting.
Let's give you the starting lineup for the 43rd running of the Knoxville Nationals. Donnie Schatz and Greg Hodden on the front row. Back to row 2, Paul McMahon, and the man who has won more races here than anybody, Daniel Lasowski, 81 times. He's visited Victory Lane here. Kenny Jacobs, a 4-time All-Stars champion, and Shane Stewart, the OCS Sprint Car Speed Week champion. Darren Pittman won the HBO just a week ago, $100,000 payday there. Sammy Swindell looking for victory number 2 in the Nationals. Kerry Madsen, they call him the Madman, alongside of the King of the Outlaws, Steve Kinzer. Joey Saldana, his dad won it. He wants to win it. Tim Schaefer, the Outlaw, making his 20th racing season. Stevie Smith would like to win it. He's been on the podium before here. Aaron Crocker, 22 years of age. Terry McCarl, a 5-time track champion, and Mark Kinzer, a 3-time Nationals winner. Jason Myers in the number 7, and Ed Lynch Jr. in the 2L out of Pennsylvania. Wayne Johnson, he got in on Thursday night. Brooke Tatnall, the driver out of Australia. Chad Kemenon, All-Star champion. Craig Kinzer trying to follow the footsteps of his father here in Knoxville. Lance Deweese and Jeff Shepard, the last 2 to make it in to the 43rd running of the Knoxville Nationals. It's got to be tough on Mark Kinzer here tonight to obviously deal with the pressure of running this race, but now knowing his father's laying in a hospital bed nearby after having appendicitis surgery.
Yeah, you could tell Mark's an emotional guy anyway. When Dave Argerbright interviewed him there, got a little teared up and emotional. He and his dad, as much as they fight and yell at each other on at the racetrack, they're very close. And you know, Mark is really thinking about that right now as they go 4 wide.
This is known as a salute to the fans.
It is. This is a chance for the drivers to get 4 wide there, show the fans that they appreciate that they're here, and just put on a little show for them.
Listen to the crowd cheering them on the front straightaway. The lights flashing atop of the suites here on the front stretch. There's an onboard look back at the dude. That's Hodnick giving you that look. He'll be starting in slot number 2. Steve Kinzer, he's going to have the 70 car right alongside. Well, actually, no, he's going to have the 82 of Kerry Madsen alongside of him.
Now remember, they're the ones that got together, and I mean, no hard feelings there, but they did make contact the other night and put Steve out of the A scramble.
Sammy Swindell, he's won it once. Brad, you put into a similar scenario as Mario Andretti. Only going to Indy all those years and only winning it once. Danny Lasowski has won it twice. He said he would give anything to win it again.
Well, and there's the guy right there. He has to be, in my mind, the sentimental favorite. He's finished second the last 2 years. The last time he started in this position on the pole, went into turn 1, peeled the left rear tire off, and spent some time in the hospital, went and had a checkup. Big crash. He's wanting to win this thing bad.
The green flag awaits him, $125,000 and the biggest prize in sprint car racing. The 43rd annual Knoxville Nationals goes green. Donnie Schatz grabs the lead as they come storming off of turn number 1. Lasowski's up to second place. Hodnick goes upstairs. Down the front straightaway, Lasowski to his normal groove, right to the bottom.
Right on the bottom, and it takes so much discipline. You can see him really going slow. Greg Hodnick's car looks loose. You see him counter steering to the right, that left front wheel, turn to the right a lot through the corners. That's not good. His race car looks pretty loose at this point.
That's not because that cushion's big and bouncy either.
No, it's the back of the car sliding. You can see the shine of the racetrack a little bit. Wouldn't surprise me he reached down, pull that wing valve, and try to move the wing back a little bit, because it looks like he's having to counter steer to the right. That means the car's loose.
And we see Lasowski now on the bottom. And you talked about earlier how upstairs it's flat to the floor. On the bottom, you got to work both pedals, the gas and the brake.
The gas and the brake. You can actually control wheel spin by coming off the corner. You actually power brake. You push some pressure on the brake pedal to help those rear wheels from spinning, and you ease off the throttle just a little bit.
There's a great battle going on behind this. There's Steve Kinzer on the bottom. Sammy Swindell up top just above him. This is a fight going on for about 6th position right now. Steve is up to 7th.
Remember, he started 10th, so he has gained some ground.
Shane Stewart just in front of Sammy. There goes Sammy, the black number 1. Driving for Dennis Roth, the only car owner from California to ever have won the Knoxville Nationals. Danny Lasowski did that for him in 1998. There's Shane Stewart in the blue car, running upstairs to the cushion. Sammy with a great slide job to take the spot.
Notice how they swap lines from one end to the other. Shane Stewart running the bottom and Sammy at the top, and they swap going in the corner. Look at the difference. Sammy way up there on top, Shane right around the bottom, but it's starting to slick off there on the bottom.
And to set up a slide job like that, you got to set it up almost a lap before to know exactly when and where to get that run like Shane did.
That's what Shane just did, but Sammy battles back on the inside, gets that moisture off the turn 2, and passes him back.
They'll flip places and do it again down at the other end.
You know, a lot of times, again, back to discipline, if a guy, you put a slide job on a guy, you got to time it just right. As Steve Kinzer just,
change for the lead. Danny Lasowski to the bottom. Oh, he slips through the middle.
But that slide job you just talked about, Danny's been running the bottom. He went in, maybe he realized he overshot the bottom a little bit. Rather than try to hug it and be stuck in the middle, he just turned the car to the right and left it go up there and grab that cushion.
Give her head, let her run up to the top, get the cushion, and charge off the mountain. Down the backstretch goes Danny the Dude Lasowski.
Look at that, though. Kind of running the middle now. He's searching. He's moving around, trying to find where that light race car likes it.
Donnie Schatz and Danny Lasowski ran together on Wednesday night. Shane Stewart is drifting back as we see he's all the way back to 7th. That's Jacobs, Kenny Jacobs, Mouse, and that blue number 70 running in 7th and 8th. It's Lasowski, Schatz, Hodnett, McMahon, Swindell, Kinzer, Stewart, Jacobs, Pittman, Saldana, the top 10. Iowa native McCall runs in 11th.
Boy, and again, you can see how much the racetrack's changed from when we went on the air, how shiny it is, how high that cushion is.
Back to the front, Lasowski now working traffic. He's got to deal with Aaron Crocker. A third of the way through the race, she goes to the bottom, he goes to the top, and slides around as we watch Aaron Crocker just to the right. There goes the dude.
Yeah, Danny had no choice. Aaron went to the bottom. You see Aaron reach down, grab that wing valve, moved her wing back, but yeah, Danny had no choice but to go around her on the top side.
That shot's upstairs in the yellow 15, the Parker Stores car closing in.
Boy, look at that run. He got off the bottom. Boy, Danny can't afford to make any mistake. Again, no rear view mirrors. He doesn't know that Schatz is back there.
You do it by sense of sound, don't you, Brad?
Yeah, you can. And just there's a feel. There's almost like a sixth sense. You can feel if somebody's there or not. But at this point, Danny pulled away from him, and you have to kind of listen too. You kind of look over your shoulder. Sometimes you can glance back to the inside of you when you're running the top. You look to the bottom of the racetrack, see if anybody's down there. See Aaron again pulling that wing valve. Her car's loose. That means she's moving the wing back, trying to get more weight to those rear tires. Is Sammy closing in?
That's Paul McMahon in the 11H, the vibrant car, and Swindell's closing in on him. And that's the battle for 4th right now. Just in front of them is Greg Hodnett in the Apple machine, the red and white number 12. And look at Kinzer closing in the Quaker State 11.
Boy, now that was a mistake by the King there. He missed, kind of went in the middle of the racetrack, had to slide all the way up across the top. He looks like he missed the bottom. He's searching around all over the racetrack.
We're halfway to the checkered flag in the 43rd running of the Knoxville Nationals. Can Danny Lasowski hold on for his 3rd win?
Boy, a lot of guys, looks like the track might have caught him off guard, really slipping and sliding around there. Steve was one of them, went in the middle of the racetrack, and he saw Sammy Swindell battle back on the outside. Now Steve, right there's some brown. Now he goes to the middle of the racetrack, right down to the bottom, trying to get that left rear into the moisture.
14 laps to go, and slamming Sammy Swindell closes in on Paul McMahon, the driver out of California that now calls Nashville, Tennessee home. Steve stuck right in the middle of the racetrack, Brad.
Boy, sure is.
That's no man's land.
No, it really is. No, oh, it's Kenny. Look at that. Kenny Jacobs battling the inside of Steve Kinzer.
Danny Lasowski used to build bullets before he became a professional race car driver. He has won more races here than anybody. 81 times he's been a winner here in Knoxville. 7 track championships. There's Donnie Schatz, the Parker Stewart car, sliding through. As they work through traffic, there goes Hodnett, McMahon then behind him. Jacobs on the bottom in the blue 70, and up top is Sammy Swindell in the number 1.
Jacobs got a run on McMahon down in there for 4th spot.
This is a great run for Kenny Jacobs.
It really is. He's at as he said, this team's very underfunded, a low-budget team. They borrowed an engine to get here. What a good run for him. Be a big payday, too, just to finish in the top 2 or 3.
4 times he's won the All-Star Series championship. There's Greg Hodnett's view as you look from the backside of Aaron Crocker. Hodnett working the bottom. The Big Apple on the top of his car. There's Ed Lynch, the 2L, moving to the high side, the driver out of Pennsylvania. Hodnett, you can see how they slide across the middle.
Boy, that shows it right there.
Oh, contact between Lynch and Crocker.
Looks like Crocker just slid up a little bit. And Ed Lynch that's the 70 of Kenny Jacobs on right there, closing in on the back of Aaron Crocker.
And you can hear how Aaron's working that throttle, and you can see how the other guys are doing the same thing. That battle for the lead, Brad, it's starting to close up through traffic. Schatz is starting to reel it in. That's the gap from 1st to 2nd. Lasowski on the bottom. Schatz on the top in the yellow car. But right now, the JB Byrider number 20 leads it here in Knoxville.
Danny was moving all over the racetrack, and he does look like his lap times are probably slowing down. I don't think Schatz is getting faster. I think Danny actually slowed around because he's moving all over trying to find something.
Now he's starting to get up into that no man's land like Kinzer was.
Well, everybody's running the top and the bottom, and it's wearing it out. So that leaves the middle, leaves a little bit of moisture there.
Can the middle come back?
Well, it's not that it can back, but it's always been there. And they just wore the bottom and the top out so bad that that's a little bit of moisture there for him to run in.
So now we're getting a balanced racetrack all the way across is what you're saying almost.
Exactly. They just, when these guys, when all the cars just keep running, it just gets slicker and slicker. And you can see
around McMahon, Brad, I hate to interrupt you. And that's going to move Sammy up another spot into 6th. Kinzer is in front of both of them. He's up to 5th, started 10th. Boy, he is amazing, isn't he?
That really is. I mean, most guys would be happy with that, but I'm sure he will. Oh, he jumped the cushion there a little bit, and Sammy got a run on him. You can see him bouncing around back there.
These two have banged heads more times as Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell, the two arch rivals, go at it again. Arguably two of the best ever to strap into a sprint car, and Sammy puts a slide job on the King. The King diamonds off the corner and charges back down the back straightaway. The Quaker State 11 on the bottom. Out of Bloomington, Indiana. One person will never be intimidated by that number 11 as a driver, that black number 1, Sammy Swindell.
Absolutely. Steve Kinzer intimidates a lot of people, but not Sammy Swindell.
Oh, he pulled away from him there. Sammy missed a turn, and Steve opened up a big gap now and slides himself up into 5th comfortably as he works around Aaron Crocker.
Well, late in a race like this, this slick racetrack like this, these guys are working so hard. As there's a leader, Daniel Slosky, with 3 laps to go. They're working up a big sweat in that race car.
Half a second behind is Donnie Schatz. There you see him. Will he be the bridesmaid here once again? Donnie Schatz doing everything. Oh, Darren Pittman is slowed. The Pepsi number 21 is slowed. We've got a yellow. Jimmy Carr, the crew chief for Daniel Lasowski, has got to be going out of his mind. Look at Jimmy Carr on the top of the war wagon. Brian Brown, Danny's nephew, to his right. Oh, he sees it going out the window.
Boy, you know, when you have your momentum going, you have your rhythm going, that's not what you want to see with just a couple laps to go. Saw Wayne Johnson have a big lead on Steve Kinzer the other night in one of the preliminaries. Had about a straightaway lead, had a caution with a couple laps to go. Steve Kinzer ended up slipping by him and winning the race. Could Donnie Schatz possibly do that to Danny Lasowski?
Only difference, and no offense to Wayne Johnson, Danny Lasowski is not Wayne Johnson as far as experience level goes. Although Donnie Schatz is a tremendous race car driver, and we know the only other person sitting as far up on the steering wheel right now is Danny.
He's got a shock broke.
He does. Look at that rear wheel bouncing.
Danny Lasowski has a shock broke on the left rear. I saw it as he was going down the back straightaway. The shock is dangling on the left rear. You can see the tire bouncing up and down. That's a tremendous blow.
What does that do to the handling of the car now as he goes into the corner as opposed to the left as to the right?
Well, you can see it shakes the tire.
See it right there. You can see it swinging.
It shakes the tire so bad it actually shakes the traction, where you lose traction on that left rear tire. When the car gets down, as it wings down in the corner, sometimes it'll run a tie-down shock, which means it keeps the left side buried down. Now with that shock off, it can fall up, get the left rear rise up and get on the right front, and that's devastating.
All right, now let me ask you this. Donnie can probably see that rolling up right behind him.
Oh, yeah.
Will that change where Donnie will try to run the corner?
Well, not really, because he has to go. He'll just have to go where where Danny Lasowski doesn't go. So if Danny goes to bottom, Schatz has no choice but to go to the top. And oh yeah, you can bet that Donnie Schatz sitting back there, he can see that.
With Danny, Danny obviously knows this. He can feel the difference. Will he be better on the top or the bottom with a shock like that? Or, well, for all we know, he's probably been running the last 20 laps that way.
Yeah, I would say probably on the bottom because it's a little bit slower. When you run in on the top, the wing pushes down on the left rear so hard. Without that shock, you could bottom the frame out, maybe turn the car real sideways. When you get in, as I talked about that discipline, you got to ride the brake, you got to run the car straighter to roll around the bottom. So I think he'd be better off to try to run the bottom. It's not going to bury that left rear quite as hard as it would on the top.
And that's his preferred line anyway, so if there's any moisture there, he might be okay.
As long as what's really going to kill him, like I said, is coming off the corner, shaking, where it shakes the tire loose, and that could cost him the win.
Well, Tony Bachhoven is standing by with old Quicksilver.
Well, Dave, Danny Lasowski's got a shock problem. Does Donnie have enough?
Well, we hope so. He's going to certainly give a flyer on him, I'm sure.
What can we expect on the restart?
Donnie's going to go where Danny don't.
How important would it be to you guys to win the Knoxville Nationals?
It's the most important race in sprint car racing.
We're going to find out here real shortly.
Absolutely.
Dave Yinks, they call him Old Quicksilver. He's been around forever, and he's been working on Donnie Schatz's car. What do you think? Can third place catch him, Dave Argabright?
Well, Ralph, I don't know the difficulty for Kenny Jacobs. He's the fastest car on the racetrack. I really think he is. He was a rocket as they headed to that yellow flag, but he has 2 to 3 lapped cars ahead of him. it's going to make it very difficult. That's a huge break for Donnie Schatz, because if Schatz doesn't have to worry about Kenny Jacobs pulling alongside, he can focus all his attention on that orange 20.
Here's the top 10. It's Lasowski, Schatz, Jacobs, Hodnett, Steve Kinzer to 5th. He could end up on the podium if he works this thing right. Sammy Swindell is 6th, Stewart 7th, McMahon is 8th, Stevie Smith up to 9th, and Meyer runs in 10th.
When I mentioned about Wayne Johnson getting past the other night, you know, you talked about Dan Lasowski not being Wayne Johnson as a driver, experience, right? But I was thinking as much as tire sealing over or having a mechanical problem. Then we noticed a shock on Dan Lasowski. Danny probably could have held on, maybe he still can, but for sure he probably could have held on had he not gone with this yellow flag. So a double blow there.
The difficulty meter for Danny to hang on at this point has just gone way up. It's a lot easier when you got the momentum and you have a 2.5 lead. But boy, here's that top 10 with 28 of the 30 laps completed. As you look at it once again, let's go down to Jimmy Carr with Tony Bachkoven.
Jimmy, is there anything wrong with Danny's car?
Yeah, he drove across the racetrack, sealed the tires up pretty early, and he's had a up, down, up, down. If he can just commit and lean on it without getting slid, he'll be all right.
Is the shock broke on the car?
No, it looks fine.
I disagree, Jimmy.
Jimmy doesn't know.
You're coming to the green. Danny got a great jump. A huge jump, and Brad, that could make the difference.
That could be it right there as Danny goes to the top. As a driver, I'm not sure he knows that the shock's broke. He can feel something, but...
Oh, that's going to do it. That jump was the whole race right there. That was an incredible jump for Lasowski. If he can just hang on and that wheel doesn't collapse on him with the shock. Well, Schatz looks like he's spinning the tires.
The incredible thing here is Jimmy Carr, because of course he can't see it. He doesn't have a monitor, but he didn't know that shock is broken.
This will be a historical victory, just one to add to the legendary career of Danny Lasowski at this facility. To the checkered flag, the winningest driver in the history of this racetrack just got another one. The 3-time winner of the Knoxville Nationals, Danny Lasowski, wins the 43rd running of the Knoxville Nationals. What an incredible performance with that shock dangling like it did.
Boy.
Danny wins in the J.D. Byrider number 20. What a night. And wait till he finds out that shock is dangling.
Well, yeah, and Hook said who's going to even be more surprised is his crew chief, Jimmy Carr. You know, he didn't have a monitor. He doesn't see what we're seeing up here. He didn't know that shock was broken.
Donnie Schatz again, a bridesmaid.
Second. You know he's due. You know it's going to come, hopefully, but he's got to be disappointed.
And Danny did it at the start. It all came down to the start, and I've heard Danny preach and preach and preach and preach about guys as he does the Polish victory
I thought he was going to get hit there as he's trying to make the U-turn.
I've heard him preach and preach to guys about the start and what to do and how to make it better, and everything he's preached to everybody else just paid off there. He's won another $125,000 check from Knoxville, and more importantly, Brad, he's got his third 5.5-foot tall Knoxville trophy.
It's about as tall as him, isn't it?
Maybe taller. Maybe taller.
Well, they did a good job on that restart. As we talked about earlier when Tony Stewart was up here, if you spin the tires, if you buzz these tires too much on a restart, you can overheat them, and you do nothing but spin. You know, if he'd have done that, he could have spun for the last 2 laps and lost this race.
Look at that left rear tire dribbling like a basketball, but you know what? He's going to slam dunk it in victory lane here in just a second. Now, he's got to make weight. That's the final thing. There's a 1,375-pound weight rule, counting the driver, and that is something he's got to do before he actually gets the victory.
And these guys run it so close, Ralph. If that shock had fallen off, it only weighs a couple pounds. But, you know, I mean, these guys try to run it that close. It might have made a difference.
Here it is. There's the scale.
You know he's got his fingers crossed.
And the numbers say? He's in. 1465. He's the winner. It's good.
See, now that you wonder, okay, they're allowed 1375, you know, and I kept saying that they run the minimum. They probably have more fuel left in it than they predicted. At 7 pounds a gallon, say, you know, if they've got 10 gallons still left, that's 70 pounds right there.
Absolutely. It's a trip. Now Jimmy Carr looking at that broken shock.
Danny's pointing to it. Danny was pointing. There's Jerry Russell with Eagle Chassis, the chassis manufacturer.
There's Chris Lasowski and his son Landon going across. His daughter Hope there as well.
Yeah, Danny was pointing to that shock showing Jerry Russell.
And Vicky, his sister-in-law, with her.
There it is.
George Lasowski, his dad is here.
The Heim joint, the part of the shock's still there. I don't know if the bolt broke off or the nut fell off that holds that shock on, but it's definitely dangling.
Paul Kistler, who builds the engines for Danny in victory lane, congratulating him as well, helping to push the car into victory lane. Get ready for the wing dance, folks. There's George Lasowski, Danny's dad.
That's it.
Jimmy Carr.
We're fucking proud of you.
Tony Stewart right there, his car owner.
I'm so fucking proud of you.
Brian Brown in the background, his nephew who worked his way out of some of the races here. There they go, the wing dance. Let's see if we can get him up on that big wing. There he goes.
I'm glad he left his helmet on in case he falls off.
Yeah, he might need it with him. Throwing his gloves into the crowd of victory lane.
That kind of is, I said at the opener of the show, it's hard to put into words the emotions and what it's like to win this race. That kind of tells it right there, doesn't it?
Hoosier Tires gets their third victory here at Knoxville 3 years in a row. Stewart enjoys this victory tonight as a car owner. He'll drive the Winston Cup race tomorrow. And waiting at the bottom of the car with the microphone, Dave Argenbright.
Danny Lasowski, come on over here, buddy. What a ride. Tell me about that shock absorber. When did that shock break?
I don't know. All I know is this thing started vibrating real bad. I didn't know what it was, so I made this thing real wide.
Tell me what's going through your mind right now.
Well, you can feel my heart is pounding 90 to nothing. I didn't know what was wrong with the car. All of a sudden it's getting loose and loose, and I didn't know what the heck was going on with it, but thanks to this guy right here, we got one here. Oh, I love him.
Tell me your thoughts when you saw that yellow flag.
I thought, oh my God, I didn't know how, I didn't ever seen anybody. I thought, oh man, something's up. I don't know. Right now I'm so proud of this JD Byrider car. I could almost bawl.
Is that absolutely the best restart you've ever had in your life?
I know, it was terrible because I blocked left or right. I looked like a big old hack happening out there, but I'll tell you what. These two guys right here made it happen. Jimmy Carr, Tony Stewart, Tosh Blaine, those guys worked their tails off. And I'm just going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate.
Tell me real quickly, this is your third. How does it compare to those first two?
The first one was very, very special. The second one was the first time I was with Tony Stewart. This one's all about him because that guy had the faith in Jimmy and I to give us his team. We couldn't do it without you, pal.
Tony Stewart, how'd he do?
I think he did a pretty damn good job right now. I tell you what, to win this thing with a broken shock, he did that on his own. He didn't do that because of us. He had his elbows up, and he ran those 2 laps the way he wanted to run them, and that was what it took to win the Nationals. So I'm proud of Jimmy Carr and everybody, Kistler Engines, Jimmy Carr, our crew chief, JD Byrider, Home Depot, Eagle Chassis, everybody that's helped us with this deal since we had this dream 3 years ago to build this team and do it. It's just a dream come true. This is my first Saturday night at Knoxville Nationals. I can promise you guys in the stands, as long as they keep this race anywhere from a 3-hour flight, I will be at the Knoxville Nationals every Saturday night the rest of my life.
They say the winner leads the celebration. Is tonight party night in Knoxville, Iowa?
I might even be hungover tomorrow for the Michigan race. I don't care.
Let's go back upstairs.
Lots of folks in the background. Vernon Conemassey, a couple of the sponsors on Danny's car in the background. Danny was hugging, and his mom Barbara is here as well. His sister joining him here. Here's the pass for the lead.
Imagine that, Danny Lasowski on the bottom, makes it work. He's got the left rear down in that brown moisture, gets a run down the back straightaway. Nothing Schatz could do at that point.
And Donnie's got to be beating his head trying to figure out what he has to do.
Yeah, and Donnie, he could be proud of what he did, but again, the car just wasn't there for him, and get to see what happens here.
Key right here. Oh, Donnie slid it a little bit, broke loose on him. Is that it, you think?
Yep, Donnie took a push there, and it shook the car loose and probably spun his rear tires, and that gave Danny enough lead to hold him off.
There they are, getting ready for victory lane ceremonies here in Knoxville. We'll have it for you on Speed Channel when we come back to Knoxville, where Danny Lasowski has just won his 3rd Nationals.
The reason we race is simple. It's where we get a lot of our best ideas.
This Sunday on Speed, MotoGP at the Czech Grand Prix. Budweiser hydroplanes at Tri-Cities, Washington. World Rally Finland is all about big air. All this Sunday, only on Speed.
This way.
What happened here?
Just playing some one-on-one, got a little rough.
Let's get him out.
Guys! Oh, I don't want you to do anything yet. I just want to see your price and some of the prices of your competitors.
What? Hey, come on, guys.
I just want to get the best deal. You know?
Our customers know the importance of shopping around, because at Progressive.com you can get our price for car insurance, plus the rates of other big name companies, and that could save you hundreds.
If you're not shopping around, you could be losing a lot of money.
Shop here first. Give us a call or visit Progressive.com, your best source for finding a great deal. Join the over 11 million people who choose Progressive for low rates and fast, friendly service.
I'll be out here in a second. Just
Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Not what you'd expect from an insurance company.
Sister-in-law Vicky. Well, there's the Victory Lane celebration. Danny with his arms around his, looks like Hope Lasowski, his daughter, and there's his wife Chris next to her. There's the top 5 from the Ford dealers' 43rd annual Knoxville Nationals. Lasowski shots. Kenny Jacobs, what a great run. He is standing by downstairs.
Well, maybe the best move of the night was when this guy jumped the fence to get down here to Victory Lane. What a ride, Kenny Jacobs. At what point did you realize you had a shot to win this race?
Well, I tell you, I can probably count on one hand how many times I've ever passed Steve Kinzer, and when that J&J car went by him that fast, I thought, my God, I got a race car here or else he's broke. And then I don't know who was next, but I went by them the same amount, just the same speed. I thought, I mean, the Kreiner engine was hitting so hard because we were so tied down on the bottom of the track, and that thing just pulled off the corner like I couldn't imagine. And I just can't say enough about the car. I mean, I'm shocked to be here because I didn't even want to come to the Nationals. We didn't have anything in line to come, and the last minute we threw stuff together. We came out here. Bob Kreiner come up with the motor and said, stick my motor in the car, and everything has been uphill since then.
You're elated with this third, but is it also a little bit frustrating to be this close?
I guess it's the second time it's been this close. Tonight I felt like I had a faster car. The last time I ran second to Steve, I don't know if I had a faster car or not, or if I just plain got outdriven. Tonight I think I drove as good a race as I could drive. It just took too long to get the car really fast, and those two guys run first and second. They were too far ahead.
How big a factor, Kenny, was it to have those lapped cars between you and Donnie Schatz on that restart?
It really didn't hurt. All three of those guys, Craig and Lance, and the 12 car, Wayne Johnson, I think it was Wayne Johnson, they just got out of my way. They motioned me to go by, and I can't thank those guys enough. They know how much this race means. They don't want to get in the way of somebody having a shot to win it, so they gave me all the room in the world. They definitely weren't in my way.
Well, he's excited and elated in third place. Let's go to Tony Bachhoven, who's with our runner-up.
Well, Donnie, second place, congratulations.
I don't know if that's in order. He just got beat one of them nights. We weren't very good at the end, and you know, Danny was a lot better, so they ended up winning.
On the last restart, could you see the shock was broke on Danny's car?
No, he got a pretty good start there. He got down in the slop and spit it up across the racetrack there, and we didn't get a very good restart. You know, I knew he wasn't as fast as he normally was, but we just weren't any better.
Good job.
Thanks.
There is no reason he needs to be hanging his head. Donnie Schatz to finish 3 times, second here, to start on the pole twice. He's had a tremendous career here at Knoxville anyway, just in the Ford Dealers of Iowa Knoxville Nationals. I know he wants to win, but he's been a very strong driver.
But any good driver, second's not good enough.
I hear you. That guy's got 3 wins in Knoxville. We'll be back.
To a driver, fear isn't going full wide into a turn.
Fear isn't driving into a cloud of smoke at 200 miles per hour. Fear is not getting sideways an inch from the wall. That's because Ford dominated
last year's Cup Series with 7 Fords finishing in the top 10.
Top 10. 7 Fords. So fear in the racing world is looking in the rearview mirror and seeing one of us.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnell. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll free. Visit Australia.
Are you in on it? To find better travel deals, use Cheap Tickets' advanced fare search technology. Go to travel.cheaptickets.com for even lower prices on cars, cruises, and vacation packages. Or call now. Why just save on airfares? Now find the lowest hotel prices. 110% guaranteed. Cheap Tickets, the best kept secret in travel.
Saving your tax dollars with asphalt recycling systems. Wirtgen, Vogela, Hahn. Wirtgen Group.
Your weeknights just got a whole lot faster. NASCAR TV, the world of NASCAR, weeknight 6 to 8 and all night Friday. Autofocus, different shows each night where the cars are the stars. Wind Tunnel, Dave, motorsports newsmakers, and you. Racing, adrenaline junkies, strap in. Check out the new lineup. Whatever you're into, it's all about speed.
Danny Lasowski used to build bullets before he became a full-time sprint car driver. He went on to become the winningest driver in the history of Knoxville Raceway with 7 track championships and now 82 victories, including 3 Knoxville National titles. Danny Lasowski won the first one in 1998, again in 2001, and now in 2003 here at the Ford Dealers of Iowa Knoxville Nationals. And he moves up the list of career victories here in the Knoxville Nationals. Now with 3, he ties Mark Kinzer, getting close to Kenny Weld, Doug Wolfgang, and maybe 12 with Steve Kinzer. That'll never be touched.
That'll be a tough one, won't it? That'll be hard to break.
Dave Argabright has a man who has 1 win here.
Well, he's one of the all-time greats of this sport. Tonight he's 4th. Sammy Swindell, there's a hint of disappointment in your eyes. Tell me about your race.
Well, it actually went pretty good. I mean, we've only run this car in this configuration here last weekend and this weekend. We've been real good early in the night in qualifying, and but we kind of been missing a little bit, you know, the last half of the feature. So we made some changes last night that didn't quite work out, and just put a combination together of what we had Wednesday and Friday, and made it work pretty good. We just, you know, starting 8th was, it's hard to pass these guys. You know, things are so close. We just had to do it when I got to a guy I could pass him. It was just, you'd run them down so slow, and you know, we just got held up a little bit. Was in the wrong place in the traffic a few times, and actually lost a spot or 2. But the Oracal team did a good job. This is the best car we've had in quite a while, and hopefully we can build on that and get some wins. You know, to run 4th here, you know, is a pretty good accomplishment, starting 8th. So we had a pretty good race there with Steve for a little bit. We passed each other a few times, so you know, at least we're got things going in the right direction, and hopefully we can build on that and, you know, get this car up where we can win some races now. The second half, we've only been running, you know, like a few races, so we're way behind these guys that run every week with the same cars. So, but we've got something to work with now, so I think we'll have some results.
Well, he's not displeased with 4th. Let's go to Tony Bachhoven.
Well, Steve Kinzer, you've won this race 12 times. Tonight you came home 6th.
Yeah, it wasn't our year. You know, we had a good enough car maybe to get up to 4th. I think I could have got by Greg and them there at the end, but I had a tire, got a hole in it, and it was about flat on me, so I was probably lucky to even get a finish, I guess. But I think the best we had was a 4th place car, and it was just a handful at that. We just wasn't our weekend.
Were you doing anything to keep the pressure up in that tire with just a few laps to go?
That's all I could do, was just sort of buzz it once in a while. I was all right as long as it wasn't a big enough hole. Once the tires, the bleeders bleed them down, they cool back down, they lose a lot of air anyways. And it just got so low, and I had my car so tight I couldn't drive it anyways. And then once the air got low, I was just struggling to do it. And I might have been all right as a lap car that ran right in the groove where I wanted to run. I got trapped in behind them, and then Sammy got by me. But I think I could have got a little run maybe at Greg if it wouldn't have happened, but we didn't have nothing from nobody else not starting 10th tonight. Danny and Tony's been doing a good job all year, and I want to congratulate them, especially, Danny and Tony. This is a big race for them. He's run here a lot local, and I just want to congratulate him for winning it.
But you came home 6th, but you're still the king at Knoxville.
Yeah, we've won our share, but we're going to win some more before I quit.
Good job tonight.
Thank you.
Well, he's won 17 World of Outlaw championships. He'll always be a legend to them. And right now, he leads Daniel Lisowski in the points as they battle. Steve Kinzer could win his 18th World of Outlaw championship.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Lisowski, the winner. Shots a second. Kenny Jacobs with a great run. Sammy Swindell is fourth. This car owner, Dennis Roth, has not finished worse than 5th in the last 6 years here now. Incredible run. Greg Honda, a fine run. Kinzer, Shane Stewart, a nice run up to 7th. Paul McMahon drifted back from 3rd to 8th. Jason Myers filling in for Craig Delansky did a nice run tonight in 9th. Stevie Smith, pretty good run in 10th as well.
Yeah, for the year they've had, Stevie Smith looks like they're starting to turn it around. They ran good at Eldora a couple weeks ago, so nice run for them.
Chad Kemena came up out of the B main to finish 14th.
Wow.
Iowa
Really?
native Terry McCarl finishes 13th, and Joey Saldana still doesn't have the trophy to match his dad. Mark Kinzer finished 16th. Carl, we hope you're feeling better. Lance Deweese, 19th. He came up out of the B. Erin Crocker, first lady to ever make the A main at Ford Dealers Knoxville Nationals, finishes 22nd. And Brooke Tatnall rounds out the field at 24th. Today, Varga with a winning crew chief.
Well, Jimmy Carr, you weren't aware that shock was broken, is that right?
I knew we had a serious problem. The car was left rear of the car was going up and down real bad, and it was either lost the top out of a shock or sealed the tires up real bad, and it was slipping and catching on the curb. But that restart there with 2 laps to go, that's probably the worst 2 laps I've ever seen Daniel Lisowski drive around this place. My heart probably stopped 3 times in that last lap.
But he did redeem himself, am I correct?
He did. When he said he was making his car wide, I don't think I've ever seen a car that wide.
Well, we'll let you go and join the celebration. Meanwhile, let's step over here to Greg Hodnett. You had a good run. At what point, Greg, did you feel that you were slipping backwards?
Basically from the get-go, we just were down left too hard and kind of skating around, and I was adjusting shocks and adjusting weight and adjusting wings, and nothing was helping. So basically we were pretty much stuck to the top because I couldn't enter to get on the bottom and stay on the bottom. But those guys are the best at it, and we just didn't do our job. And unfortunately, we wanted to make PA proud, but we did the best we could, and hopefully next year we'll get the same opportunity.
Well, I hope so too. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, congratulations to Greg Hodnett on a fine run to 5th, top 5 at Knoxville. Always a good night. Stay with us. We're coming back to wrap things up at the Ford Dealers of Iowa, Knoxville Nationals.
In 2002,
Ford won 14 Cup races. And at the end of the season, 7 of the top 10 cars were Fords. In fact, Ford was the first to win 500 Cup races.
victories that brought Ford
15 manufacturers' championships. That makes Ford, the team to watch. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Hey, where are the things? Tickets. Where are the tickets?
In your shirt pocket.
Cab will be here in a minute. See if the flight's on time.
I'm on it.
Is everything here?
Yeah, everything.
My blue swimsuit?
Mm-hmm.
Sunscreen?
15 and 30.
Beach towels.
Beach towels, snorkels, flip-flops, camcorder.
Get a new one fast. With Circuit City's Express Pickup, you can order online and pick up in minutes. Circuit City, we're with you.
I'll just keep this up front.
For the past 20 years, Hooters has been there. Which is why, as we celebrate our 20th anniversary, we can now say what the skeptics have been saying all along. We're history. Hooters, still winging it after all these years. Come celebrate Hooters' 20th anniversary with 20% off food and merchandise the 20th of every month.
Visit Australia. I'm Brooke Tatnall. Let's go racing down under. Call 1-866-379-9618. Make a break this winter and follow the stars and champions of the Knoxville Nationals as they go racing down under. You'll be sitting in great seats for 3 days of sprint car action at Parramatta City Raceway. When you're not racing, you'll have 5 days to explore the best of Australia. It's the Down and Dirty Down Under Tour. Call the Carlson Travel Yanks toll-free. Visit Australia.
Speed just made your weeknights a whole lot faster. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, it's Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. Dave, motorsports newsmakers, and you. Whatever you're into, it's all about speed.
Speed Channel's coverage of the Knoxville Nationals has been brought to you by Ford. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. And by Visit Australia, the Down and Dirty Down Under winner racing capital. Well, Brad, what'd you think?
Well, I think Danny Lasowski was very fast, but he was lucky in a way. If that shock would have jabbed the left or tire went flat, or that caution came out, if he'd have jumped the cushion or something, but he didn't, and he won.
Aaron Crocker has just been named this year's Rookie of the Year at the Nationals. Danny Lasowski, congratulations on your third Ford Dealers of Iowa Knoxville Nationals. For Tony Bachkova, Dave Argerbright, Brad Doty, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from Knoxville.